Good evening and welcome to the Janea Netball Centre for round 2 of the Opens Premier League. I'm Brittany Carter and really excited to be sitting courtside for this great match up on the Showcourt tonight between the UTS St George Sparks and Manly Sapphires. It's the 2017 Grand Final rematch, and it's pretty funny because I've actually got a player sitting beside me that was part of that game last year. Hello, Giant shooter Chrissy Bryce. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you.
Are you looking forward to being back in Premier League, the arena?
Yeah, obviously being out at Super Netball level, you kind of get disjointed with the girls out here sometimes, so it's really good to be able to come out and watch what's up and coming.
All right, now before we get underway with the action, I'm just going to quickly run through the teams. Playing for Manly tonight, we've got Tamara Black in goal shooter, Lauren Cantwell in goal attack, Georgia Clayton in wing attack, Latika Toombs in centre, and up the defence end, Holly O'Shaughnessy in wing defence, Steph McGugan in goal defence, and Hannah Creelman in goalkeeper. Now for UTS, we've got Nat Elridge and Beryl Friday in the shooting circle, goal shooter and goal attack, Amy Parmenter wing attack, Belinda Loveday in centre, starting us off right now. We've got Tian Bradley in wing defence, Cara Stiles in goal defence, and up the defensive circle with her, we've got Keely Rodrigo. So early tip from Hannah Creelman. The Sparks end up with the ball. And we'll see a turnover very early.
Yeah, it's very unusual for Sparks to make so many errors right at the start of the game, but hopefully they can warm into this one.
How did you feel after that loss last year? I'm sorry to bring it back up again, but we are here back where it all happens against the same team.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to be on the losing end of a grand final, especially after coming off the Super Netball grand final loss as well, but yeah, the girls, they've put in the hard yards in pre-season this year, so wanting to make up for it this game tonight.
Manly on the board first with the first goal of the match, and it was a UTS centre, so that's a good start with them.
Yeah.
Lauren Cantwell in the middle, pushing to Latika Toombs. Clayton, edge of the circle now. Cantwell unhappy with her position, she's going to keep moving. Nice little offload. Oh, they would have been lucky if that went in, Chrissy.
Yeah, yeah, Lauren Cantwell, I've played with her through the national systems as well. She's really good at setting up a circle for these taller holding shooters.
Now we've got Elridge, top of the circle to Parmenter. She's going to give it to Beryl Friday, who's right in front. And not pressured by Steph McGugan, the long arms.
They're both training partners with the Giants for this year, so get plenty of practice against each other.
Long ball, Friday. Parmenter bounce pass into Elridge. That was smart work. And a nice little goal to finish it off. Sparks up by 1. 2 minutes gone. Cross court now, straight to a shooter. It's her second attempt that she's missed. The first one was a little bit crazy, Tamara Black. Wishful thinking. Another bounce pass from Amy Parmenter. Nat Elridge, nice positioning at the top of the circle. And unlucky, just over the sideline. Creelman with the throw in. What are you thinking? Early thoughts?
It's going to be really important, particularly for these shooters who've missed a couple of shots, to keep putting those shots up. They're not always going to go in all the time, but just having the confidence to keep going to the post even though things aren't working.
Black with her third attempt. This one goes in. Well done, Tamara Black. 2-all. And a Spark centre. Parmenter now looking for an option. She'll go cross court, and Lauren Cantwell with a great intercept. Manly pushes up the court. Clayton, edge of the circle. Cantwell now offloads to Toombs. Bit of pressure to get the ball in. They fed well, and it's gone through the hoop.
Yeah, Manly's a very patient team when feeding on the circle edge. They won't force a lot of balls in, and they got quite a lot of speed through their mid-court as well. So Sparks really need to put some pressure on early to try and get some turnover ball.
Certainly early signs is they haven't had any trouble getting up the ends. It's just trying to feed into the circle and get a nice position.
Yeah. But they'll be very patient with it as well, work it around until their shooters are happy with the ball as well.
Good observations from Chrissy Bryce early. Manly picking up the ball with breaking from the centre. And the feed was a little high. UTS will take the throw in through Keely Rodrigo, who's actually from Canberra and travels up twice a week for training and for the games. Parmenter, edge of the circle now. Nice little offload to Friday. Straight through. Swish is, I think, the term used for those ones. The technical one.
A bit of a pure shot there. Yeah, I'd like to practice those ones at training.
A pure shot. I'll be using that again. Thank you. Cantwell in front. Now to Toombs. Give and go. Pass back. Baseline shot for Cantwell. And she's missed. Keely Rodriguez jumped straight on the rebound.
Lots of long arms in that Sparks defensive circle.
Parmenter to Friday now. Goes backwards. She's loving the bounce passes tonight, Parmenter.
Yeah, they really work for her. She's been, particularly at Giants training, their favourite passes to throw in. Sometimes we need a reminder that they're not the best passers at times. But, yeah, so there's sort of something she's been working on, particularly the swings across the top of the circle.
Now, in grade netball, I know the girls I coach in under 12s at Sutherland like to have a code word for the bounce pass, because obviously you want to take your opponent off guard when you use one.
Yeah.
So is that something that's common all the way to the top, or do you start getting a little bit more professional?
I think it's just sort of you know which sort of pass to use at which time, and
intuition,
everyone,
right?
Yeah, everyone.
Okay.
Even if it's the wrong decision, if you do it with confidence, then it's going to pull off.
I think they're a mid-quarter speciality.
Yeah, particularly those shorter players trying to get it around some long arms, the defenders.
Cantwell with a free shot, and it'll roll in. Manly are now up by 3. 10 minutes on the clock. Less than 10 minutes, 9 minutes on the clock. Taking away a minute from play. Able to get the ball away quick from the centre pass, Manly. They'll use the pocket, Toombs. Now there's a free pass or shot inside the circle, and Black will take her chances.
Very nice shot to finish off in there.
Friday did well to break for the centre, coming across her player. Now Styles to Loveday. Friday. That was smart by her. She really brought attention to the fact that the defender wasn't 3 feet.
Yeah, particularly when we got sort of players that are a bit close sometimes, or a little bit grabby as you run past, being able to actually keep driving through might draw the umpire's attention to what's going on out there.
Oh, that was a lovely passage of play from the Sapphires. They know how to score quickly. Parmenter now forced to go back. Tian Bradley to Loveday. Quick offload. Maybe too quick. Parmenter wasn't able to grab it very well.
Don't see that very often with Amy. She's usually on top of everything.
And able to jump so high for such a short player. She's very springy.
Yeah, I think she's probably got one of the highest vertical jumps in our Giants camp at the moment.
Wow. Oh, wow. This is smart play from Cantwell. Tian Bradley looking for a pass. Oh, knew she could go offside. And the ball just trickled into
a shooter,
the shooting circle. Clayton calling for it. Cantwell goes over the top to Black, and now they're in the pocket. Using the edge of the circle. Again. Oh, tip. Tip from Rodrigo. Do the Sparks end up with the ball? No. Manly in the pocket to Black. Baseline shot. Nice and strong.
Some of these Manly girls will be used to feeding against Keely Rodrigo. She was part of their squad last year, so something they'd be used to having to play up against with training and stuff.
Friday, no look pass to Loveday in the pocket, and she set herself up with nice position under the net. You can see the coaches of the Sparks on the screen just before. Moira Gaha is the head coach, and Regan Tweddle, coach of the under-20s, sitting right beside her. Black, another shot and up and in. She's found her feet. We saw her miss those first few attempts in this quarter, and then she's really got into the rhythm of things.
You tend to find with a couple of the younger girls, I think a lot of these Opens teams are playing a few of the younger players that it takes them a while to get into the game, but once they get there, they find their rhythm, they're pretty set.
Elridge, that was great work on the rebounds. Really able to bring it in with her fingertips. This time Krillman got the better of her, and she'll take the penalty. Wow, Parmenter forcing a turnover here, giving the Sparks another opportunity.
Just needed someone to help her out.
Yeah, she had no one to pass to. Oh, how was that? Oh, stepping. I was going to say it was a great feed from Loveday. McGugan has to go long. Toombs in the midcourt. O'Shaughnessy. Again, they're stuck for an option. Quick work by Manly now. And the bounce pass doesn't pay off. Trickles over the sideline.
Smart move by Lauren. It came off the Sparks players, so they still end up with the ball anyway.
There you go, clever work. Sapphires leading the Sparks. Less than 5 minutes of play. It's 12-5. I think the real difference between the Sapphires here, Chrissy, is that we've seen them stuck for an option in some passages of play, but then as soon as they find one, they're quick onto it and they're moving really fast.
Yeah, they're one of those teams, like they won't really throw ball away. They're quite patient with it, and once they see an option, they use that, and it really gets them out of trouble sometimes.
Although we just saw that exact example from Loveday. She's gone over the top of the circles of Parmenter. Elridge, pass back. Stuck a little way out, she'll offload. Oh, free pass for Friday. I should mention something funny actually. So we're just going to make a change here. Nawai Isles coming on for Tian Bradley.
Yeah, Amy Parman is going to move back to her traditional position of wing defence. So
yeah, Moira Gaha said she was going to play a bit more wing attack this year.
Yeah, so we might see a bit more turnover ball in the defensive end with Amy back there.
Little tip from Beryl Friday. Disturbs the passage of play. So if you were just watching Georgia Clayton take the throw in, then you might have noticed that she's actually got a dress on that says Langman. Now your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. It is not Laura Langman, it is Georgia Clayton. What happened is Manly's dresses haven't arrived for the season yet, unfortunately.
Sparks are in a bit of the same issue here as well.
I was just going to say Beryl Friday's definitely not wearing the right dress.
No.
But what happened was a few seasons ago, Laura Langman, when she was in Sydney, was supposed to play for Manly at one point. And it never ended up happening, but they had 3 spare Langman dresses hanging around.
Just 3?
And now that they've got no dresses, there's actually 3 Langmans that we might see appear on court tonight. So internationals playing here as well, guys.
Funny thing is, I think I've seen a Clayton dress running around too.
That's right, someone else is wearing her dress. Just to confuse us.
Yeah.
Elridge, lovely little flick of the wrist. And she'll add to the Sparks account. They're down by 5. Sapphires 13-8 with 2.5 minutes on the clock. Quick work. Moving up and over the circle. Good try by Kelly Rodrigo. She was just a fraction too late. And Clayton.
Clayton's not in the circle.
Are you sure it wasn't Langman having a shot? Rodrigo with the pass. Parmenter calling for it in the middle. In a channel now. Isles will go over the top. She's trying to convince Loveday to hang in that pocket, but it's ended up with the hands of Manly. And you'll see a turnover. Quick feed, Elridge. Sparks willing to try and make something of this opportunity, and they have another goal. Isles out straight for the pass to Friday. Nice feeding into Elridge, and there'll be a long bomb, but it goes straight through. one of the apprentice coaches up on the seating there at the top. What I really like about the Sparks, Chrissy, is that I've noticed every year they have a head coach, an assistant coach, and an apprentice coach for each team. So you're really about bringing up everyone you can, whether it's coaching, whether it's playing.
Yeah, so the apprentice coach for the Opens team, Tyson Allen, he's actually the head coach of the Metro 1 team for St George. So it makes for a good working relationship between Metro 1 and Prem League for when we need to borrow players either way.
And certainly I've noticed over the years that a lot more men are involved now in netball. It's great.
Yeah, most of my mates from netball, they're all men playing netball as well. So it's great to be able to, particularly with Super Netball, travelling around the state, around the country and stuff, like having the boys there as well. They get quite into their netty.
And some of our best umpires are men as well, I should mention.
Yeah, obviously with our top of the table clash on the weekend, we had a male umpire on the game as well, so doing pretty well for themselves, the boys out there.
Up and over, Styles, Isles, Friday, quick work. Been really impressed by Isles' driving and her ability to just take off. Yeah,
so she's given a bit of punch into this attacking end here. We sort of brought her over, so she's in our Canberra Giants A&L team. So I think Julie Fitz had her over in Magic for a couple of years over there as well. So yeah, good inclusion to the Sparks team this year.
Nice little import. So originally from New Zealand, but now living in Canberra and travelling up. Yeah. I think her partner plays rugby down there too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So after the first quarter, the Sapphires are up by 2, 14-12. And I say that with a little bit of surprise in my voice because the Sparks really clawed their way back there.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that they don't like to be losing. So it's good to see the girls be able to come back in that last couple of minutes, sort of settle into their game and start playing their own game.
So, Chrissy, I want to focus on you a little bit. Before I knew you were coming here tonight, I watched the video. There's a giant in Chrissy Bryce. Yeah. Tell me about that. There's a lot of emotion in that video. And for someone, when I look at your resume in netball, has just gone from, being selected in this team to this team to this team. You've done so well in such a short amount of time. I was so surprised to hear the backstory to your journey and hear that people said originally you're not going to make it because of where you're from.
Yeah, obviously it's really hard, and these are the sort of stories that you don't actually know about people out there, so everyone's got their own little backstory. Some people get it harder than others, but the journey is not always what some people see as a nice straight road, so it does take a while to get there for some people, yeah.
So who were these people telling you that you couldn't make it? Because surely they must be just eating their words now.
A lot of them, they all suddenly want to be my friend again. They were just the sort of people who don't really know how to coach a team to work with a holding shooter, so didn't want to put the work in, so therefore didn't want to select me in teams and stuff like that as well.
All right, when we look back at your career so far, you've played at the Giants, obviously this season and last, yeah. And in the 2016, the last year of the ANZ Championship, you were down at the Thunderbirds in Adelaide as an injury replacement player. What did it feel like when you got the call up for that? Because at the time, that was the pinnacle of netball.
Yeah, originally I was only going down there to be a training partner with the Thunderbirds. Didn't get anything here in Sydney, and all the other rosters were filled up. So Michelle, who was the coach at the time, just gave me a ring and was like, look, we can't offer you anything in terms of a contract, but maybe come down and do some training with us, spend the season down there. And then unfortunately for Adelaide that year, everyone a different person was injured every week, and suddenly found myself on court with the girls out there.
We shouldn't laugh, but that's how opportunities are made, aren't they?
Yeah, so obviously you don't want other people to get injured, but when it does happen, you need to make the most of the opportunities that you get.
Now, I was doing a bit of research on where you played J&L. Did you actually play for the Southern Force while you were down there? Yeah,
so I originally started my A&L career with the Australian Institute of Sport while I was down there, and then when I came back to Sydney with the Waratahs, and then while I was playing in South Australia, I was with the Southern Force as well, yeah.
And what was it like down there? What's their netball community like?
They definitely love their netball down there. You can't really walk down the street without someone actually knowing who you are. So, yeah, it's such a different environment. Obviously, here in New South Wales, it's a bigger state. Not many people recognise people out there, so it was a different environment, yeah.
And in that first year that you debuted in the ANZ Championship 2016, you were their best new talent.
Yeah, it was obviously something that I didn't even know it was a thing in ANZ. So when Netball Australia were ringing me up to do the interview for it, I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing.
I won this award I didn't even know existed, right?
Yeah.
All right, more from Chrissy Bryce in her career at halftime. But for now, Manly have the first centre pass of the second quarter. Cantwell is wearing Clayton's dress.
Yeah, so I just saw a Clayton out there somewhere.
And that was a lovely grab from Rodrigo, who tried to force a turnover, but passed the ball straight back to Manly.
And then Manly giving it straight back to Sparks.
Funny game netball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Parmenter moving up the court now. Loveday. Isles to Friday. She's looking to go back to Isles. Lots of little dummies. Some strong passing here too, right at the last moment. And Friday's in front. First goal of the second quarter. That's pretty big.
Yeah, they're the sort of ones. So there was, with a couple of turnovers and stuff, you obviously want to be the team that gets the settler and try to get in as early as possible in the second quarter.
Is it a confidence boost, that first goal?
It would definitely be for Sparks. Obviously, they would need to try get some turnover ball to try get in front for this game. So, yeah, early goals is going to really help them in that.
And Shaughnessy. And we'll see Manly pick up a free pass here. Cantwell pushing through. And Manly will get another pass, trying to work out what the umpire is saying here. Cantwell misses. It's not often she does that. Now Black's got the ball on the baseline. She's missed two. Nice little tip from Cara Stiles. They're moving into the midcourt. Parmenter. Isles has got it. Pocket. Parmenter. She feeds around the body of Toombs. Neldridge puts it up and in. That was a lovely passage of play.
Yes, Palmy does love those pockets. She does do a more sort of longer lines and longer drives rather than the short stuff like a traditional centre court would. But I suppose that's what you get when you're moving her from a wing defence into a centre.
That's right, and we have seen her push into that centre position. Loveday now in wing defence.
Just needed a little ball to drop in front of Nat there on that one. That one sort of allowed the defenders to get into it, so just need to work on positioning on these balls.
No changes for Manly after the first break. Holly Shaughnessy goes to Clayton. Up the outside channel now. Stiles is all over Cantwell. She's doing quite well to defend her. Quick drive from Clayton, outside of a player. She goes lateral this time. McGugan looking for an option. Very patient, as Chrissy Bryce mentioned, Manly with the ball. Toombs creates an opportunity on the outside of Clayton. She goes to feed. It goes over the top and out. Is there any of these players that you got really close links with?
Obviously a lot of these girls, so Amy Parmenter's been one of our training partners for the last 2 years. I've played with her for a couple of seasons. Beryl Friday, we had a nice connection, obviously in the grand final last year. And yeah, so just a lot of the girls I've pretty much grown up playing netball with. I was in Canberra with Keely Rodrigo, played nationals with Cara a couple of times, so yeah.
There's a good pick up with the intercept from Manly. Black. No mistake. Straight through. I'm really making a mental note here not to look at the dresses because it's completely throwing me off. Clayton, edge of the circle. Toombs. Black in front. Lovely strong hold from Keely Rodrigo, and she's been awarded with a great rebound with the positioning
nice
of the ball.
strong rebound there as well.
Isles quick with the ball. 2 dummies before she gives it to Elridge. And it'll circle around the net before it pops through. When that happens in the game, is your heart just sort of skipping a little bit going, come on, go in?
Yeah, so they're the sort of shots that you don't want to see. You just want them to obviously go straight through. But I think as a shooter, like even when you see it rolling around, you know it's going to go in or not. So that definitely helps with setting up for rebound position as well.
So a stepping call on UTS has given Manly the ball. That was really smart play using a triangle. Black really positioning her body, offloading it, and then making sure she had some space to get the pass.
The Manly girls at the moment, they're really in the circle. They're really playing well with each other, setting things up for each other. So that's been really nice to see as well.
18-16, less than 10 minutes on the clock. 19 now. So the difference is 3. Manly over UTS. Friday with a strong hold from McGugan. Having a little chuckle, the two of them.
Yeah, it's funny, like when I was growing up playing netball, Steph McGugan used to be a shooter. And then now she's come back and she's a defender. I go away sort of to Adelaide and I come back and she's down in the same circle as me.
So Amy Parmenter just picked up a great intercept of a bounce pass then. So having done so many bounce passes, she's obviously known when to expect them.
Yeah, she's just one of those players. She'll have a crack at everything. She goes head first and everything as well. A couple of weeks ago at A&L, she actually was going for a ball and ended up splitting her face open.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Now, I've wanted to ask you, obviously, you're very tall.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about giving defending a go?
Or
were you ever a defender?
I used to be a defender, and then I was changing associations. They're like, well, we actually have a good defensive circle, but we need a shooter. So, and then I think when I went to trial for them and they put me into shooter, it took me about 20 attempts before I got one in, and they're like, yep, you'll do.
And obviously it stuck.
Yeah.
You enjoy it more than defending?
I do like to have a little go in defence every now and again. So, but yeah, I think shooting's it comes naturally to me now. So just find it that much easier than defence at the moment.
It'd be great for your mindset because you sort of know what to expect from the defenders as well, having been one before.
Yeah, but with the leagues as they are now, their defenders are they're a lot more physical, and some defenders do have a way of getting you to where they want you to be, and it's more of a mental game nowadays.
Elridge, fairway out on the right-hand side. She'll have an attempt, and Friday does well to get the rebound. These two are really enjoying themselves, McGugan and Friday.
Yeah, they've Friday been from Queensland, so come up against each other a lot throughout their rep careers and all those sorts of things at nationals.
Strong hold with the outside hand from Rodrigo. Been really impressed by what Styles and Rodrigo have been able to do together. There's been a lot of chatter between them.
Yeah, very vocal in there, and it's good to see them be able to change up what they're doing over the shot as well. So making the shooters guess and second guess on their shots as well, which has been really good.
Average. Friday was asking for it, but she had confidence in herself. You can see the under-20 spark sitting there.
Yeah, they like to get down a bit early, have a look at what the other girls are doing. It goes the same way when the 20s have the first game and the Opens come down early and watch them as well and cheer them on.
I must say these two clubs have great support networks behind them.
Yeah, they do like to try to get some of the junior associations that are aligned with their Premier League franchises to come out as well. And yeah, so there's lots of support coming through all their networks.
Isles. Straight to Friday. Nice split stance. Allows her to get a bit closer to the post. Up and in. Wow, seamless.
Yeah. Suppose it helps this whole attacking end. Apart from that, Canberra Giants for A&L, so they're used to playing together.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Moira Gaha was really trying to make me understand how hard it's been with the girls in pre-season and some of these games, because obviously the A&L girls have restrictions on how much they can actually do. But really, I mean, they've got an incredible lineup. So Matilda McDonald is playing New South Wales under-19s. She's not actually here tonight, but, you know, she is part of the team. Oh, there she is.
She's running late.
She must have been the one stuck in traffic. Yeah. So she's also playing for the Waratahs with Elle Bennett's.
Yeah.
And then Giants, A&L, Beryl Friday, Nawa Isles, Amy Parmenter, Keely Rodrigo, and Cara Stiles. That is six players? Yeah, at least.
So it's definitely been a bit harder for Moira in terms of being able to get a full roster and settle in starting sevens and stuff like that. But yeah, the girls are nearly finished with A&L, so as soon as that finishes, it'd be good to see Sparks get some solid lineups going on out there.
You've also got the Super Netball happening, of course, with Parmenter and Bryce at the Giants. Yourself?
Yeah.
And Claire O'Brien's now at the Swifts.
Yeah.
So Moira was actually telling me that your name is still on the list, because whenever you want to come back and get court time, you're welcome. So.
I think just about every franchise has told me the same thing.
So your first year with the Sparks was last year, is that right?
Yeah, and I was with GW's Fury in the season before. So Jenny O'Keefe, who's the coach of the Fury team, she was my coach when she was coaching Sydney Uni in the state league back then. So most of the team followed her across the Fury when she took that job, and then was just sort of looking for a change and came across the Sparks last year.
What's been really interesting as we see Tamara Black has missed the shot. Cara Stiles trying to keep it in play. Cantwell unable to get the ball on the court, although they've got a free pass now.
Yeah, a bit of a contact there from Belle Loveday. Don't usually see that happen a lot with her out there. She's usually she's one of those clean players. Like, she'll just pull off these crazy intercepts. You know, like, how the hell did she end up with that ball?
Magic.
Yeah, she's just also recently engaged, Belle Loveday.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, so they were overseas and he proposed to her. So
whereabouts were they?
Over in America. I'm pretty sure I think they were in LA at the time. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Belle Loveday. Clayton straight out for the feed. Cantwell.
Actually, I think it might have been Disneyland to be exact.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Where all the magic happens. Yeah. A real life fairy tale.
Yeah.
Manly with a free pass through McGugan on the transverse line. We've got Clayton, now Cantwell. Gives and goes to Toombs. Lots of calling here. Clayton's got it top of the circle. Bit stuck for options. Black keeps moving. Although Cantwell's got it on the baseline.
Yeah, that's one of Lauren's specialties, that baseline drive. I definitely know when I used to play with her that if she's going to come anywhere into the circle, it's along the baseline. So when I played with her, definitely one of like those games that I'd play more of a higher hold on the shot as well.
How would you prevent her coming through then? You'd have to obviously stick to her like glue.
So you can, if you got the holding shooter or that, but you need to get a foot between, like on the baseline, just to make her go the other way. So I either go around the post out of court or make her come back the sweep across the top.
So body positioning will help you there. Okay, 27 apiece. I don't know how this crept up on us. There we go, 28. Sapphires up by 1. But the Sparks have really come back in this quarter. Some fast work here. I don't think you could say it's really been either way. It's been a pretty much goal for goal, almost.
Yeah, this quarter has been. Yeah, like Sparks will get a couple in a row, and then like Sapphires will get a couple. So it's been a really hard one to try to get to bring this lead back. So Hopefully the girls can get it together in the third quarter, championship quarter as everyone likes to call it.
Hell ball. This is good pressure from the Sparks. Styles with the throw to Isles, who goes back. Loveday. Styles going up that outside channel. Parmenter. Lovely feed. Just floats the ball up and over McGugan.
Nice patient play from the Sparks there, and with their centre pass leading into the end of this quarter, so they should be going in with the lead at half-time.
10 seconds on the clock. Sparks trying to get another one, to get 2 in front, and Friday will make it happen. There we go.
That one in, yeah.
Holding time as they take the centre. Team sort of just waiting for the clock to tick over.
Bill Friday there trying to get the obstruction calls so they get the centre bars going back on.
Very smart.
Yeah.
The Sparks are up by 2. They lead the Sapphires 30-28. Overall thoughts of the game so far?
It's obviously it's anyone's game at the moment. 2 is very easy to come back from. So we obviously see that a lot with the Super Netball at the moment, that deficits are really easy to bring back in, particularly with Manly with the tall shooter at the back. They have the potential to score lots of goals really quickly.
And that was a really tight quarter, as we mentioned, compared to the first. And I think you're right in that Manly have been really composed and patient. Yeah. And then you saw UTS actually channel some of that and bring that into their game.
Yeah, I think it's really important for particularly Sparks to be able to play their own game. They are one that's usually known for they've got a lot of speed through the mid-court, so being able to get turnovers and get the ball down quickly and get sort of Manly on the back foot will really help them out there.
So the score is very similar to the first quarter in that the Sparks are up by 2 goals, 16 goals each scored in that quarter. And you're right, it wasn't really goal for goal, but there was like probably 2-3 goals scored on one side and then mix it up with the other. All right, back to you, Chrissy Bice. Obviously, Giants again this year.
Yeah.
How's the season going?
Really good. Obviously, we had that top of the table clash the other night against the West Coast Fever, where it was one of those games that could have gone either way at the end of the game there, but didn't come away with a win that time. But you definitely learn more from a loss than what you do from a win. So lots of stuff. So we'll do some video work tomorrow at training and have a look at the game and work what we can work on going into the second half of the season.
Just give us a little insight into how big the level of commitment is in Super Netball. Like, how many days are you training? How long?
So in pre-season we were 6 sessions a week, so 3 on court, 3 in the gym. Now at the moment it's sort of depending on how long our turnaround is between games. So with coming into the bye this weekend, we sort of had a couple of days off, so we're back into training tomorrow. We'll do a weight session tomorrow with our video staff and chance to check in with the physio and stuff like that after the weekend and the long flight, and then a bit of core work on Friday, a little top-up session Saturday morning leading into the weekend, and then straight back into it on Tuesday with a full training load. So 2 court work, 2 weights before the game on the weekend.
So you've got this weekend off. What are you up to?
Actually, I've got to finish off a uni assignment, so
no, that's not fun.
We've had these last couple of days off, and so every day this week so far I've had an assignment due. So,
and you're studying health science?
Yeah.
That sounds very smart.
It's one of those ones. I wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do when I was coming out of school. When I was down at the AIS, I did my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness, and then I was just like, well, this is one that I can I know I want to work in that sort of sector, but don't really know what I want to do. So it gave me the opportunity to pick up electives from different fields as well and try to decide what I wanted to do.
And what do you like to do in your free time, if you ever get any of it? When you're not here.
When I'm not here, that's not very often. But so I've got I like to take the dogs, so we've got a couple of dogs. I like to take them down to the river and just sort of get away from things at the moment. With elite sport and being at uni and all that sort of stuff, life can get a bit hectic sometimes. So just having the opportunity to be able to get away from everything, just have some time on my own, really helps me settle for the weekends and stuff like that.
Now, I was having a look at your stats in Super Netball. So you've scored 93 goals so far from 103 attempts. So, I mean, you've only missed 10, but do you remember those 10?
Some of them I was like, why did I even put some of those ones up? I remember watching the Firebirds game back after, so that was the second time I've been out on court, and just the commentators on those games sort of trying to mention, because I had the 100% shooting against the Thunderbirds in round 2, and the commentators keep mentioning it, and then eventually it was eventually going to happen. The commentators curse.
You can blame them.
Yeah.
But you are creeping up towards that 100 mark.
Yeah.
Do you keep count of stuff like that, or is it just sort of whatever happens?
Just sort of whatever happens. It was like when I was playing A&L and stuff like that, and they were like, oh, so you're coming up to breaking the record for the most goals scored ever in for an A&L player, and I was like, well, they're just the sort of things that you don't really try to keep count of. You just go out there and play your game and try to perform the best you can all the time.
So that was back in 2014. The record you made was 468, which I believe has been surpassed since then.
I had the one for most goals in a season, which Sophie Garvin, who's with the Swifts now, so she broke that one last year with the Western Sting. And so I think I've still got the one for the most goals scored ever. Jules does like to give me a bit of a cameo at A&L every now and again, so just keep that ticking over.
Now, we're going to have a look at your career a little bit, because I mentioned before that, you have an impressive resume. But when it comes to state representation, you represented New South Wales in 17s and unders, 19s and unders, 21s and unders, and then you moved on to Waratahs before you went down to Adelaide. And then when you look at your national representation, 17s and unders, 19s and unders, and 21s and unders. And I believe you went to 2 World Youth Cups, is that right?
I just went to the one in Scotland in 2013. So
who else was on that team? Anyone we know?
So we had Paige Hadley, Kim Ravellian, Gabby Simpson, Courtney Bruce, Joe Weston. So it was a pretty star-studded lineup when you look at it now, but unfortunately couldn't get the gold medal that year. And then the girls last year, same result.
New Zealand, right?
Yeah, the New Zealanders, they're pretty strong in their underage.
And what is that World Youth Cup like? I mean, obviously, you're pretty young. You're under 21s.
Yeah.
You head to a whole different country. It must be an amazing experience as part of the program that Australian Netball offers, but it must be pretty daunting too.
Yeah, we were going into it, so we were favourites to win it, with the Australian team winning at the tournament before. And every time we played against New Zealand leading up into it, we did beat them by considerable margins, so everyone thought Australia were going to win this quite easy. And then we had quite an easy round, so pool for us, like we had all those sort of like stranger sort of countries. So we had Israel and places like that you don't really think are going to be traditional netball nations. And so I had it a little bit easier coming into finals and that sort of stuff. So I think that definitely didn't help us. So I think it was the girls this year, like last year, going into their World Youth Cup, they had it a bit harder because of where we positioned the year before.
The pool, right?
Yeah, but they hadn't seen New Zealand for leading into that competition.
Okay, so it looks like we're almost ready to go for the third quarter. Grand final rematch opens competition. Manly Sapphires up against UTS St George Sparks. You can see Tilly is on. Matilda McDonald almost breaking there in wing defence, and she's fired up and ready to go. Just look at the facial expressions.
Yeah, it's good to see, like, Tilly obviously being a 20s player last year, being able to have the opportunity to come up into this Opens team and try to stand for authority on this competition as well. She was a really strong player for our 20s last year.
She's a very goofy player too. I know, watching back some of the footage, or a few times I'd be interviewing someone and she'd creep up behind me and pull a face. Or
yeah, definitely one of those players who she's definitely got some white line fever, so she'll be like your best mate out there, and then as soon as you get over that line to start the quarter, she's real intense, and you know what you're gonna get from her out there, which is really good.
Sparks in the pocket now with Isles. Tries to fake the bounce pass, and instead they'll get the ball inside the circle. Elridge goes for the shot, misses, and it's out. Tries to keep it in play.
Yeah, good to see Nat back herself on those longer shots. You don't see that a lot from these shorter shooters, so her being able to really back herself in is been really good to see.
Quick work from Cantwell, sees the ball into the hands of Clayton, and they've done a little pass back twice. Straight in.
Shooters love their shuffle shots.
That's the give back, yeah?
Yeah.
Shuffle shot, I like that
shot,
too.
Yeah.
What was the other one you gave me before?
The pure shot.
The pure shot, that's right.
Or the netball lingo
I'll be
for your
picking
little
up.
kids.
Yeah, I'll be picking up this as much as I can. Friday baseline now. Just drops the ball down to Isles, except she tries to give it back and it ends up with Manly.
Don't think Friday was expecting it to come back so soon.
You've got to be ready always, huh?
Yeah.
Like Belinda Loveday was just then, picked up an intercept, and Sparks head up the court. Friday decides to stick with the shooter feed. Finishes the job. 31-29.
It's been good to see the passages of play that have really worked for Sparks to be able to get the ball down the court is when they do play within the two channels, not going long across the court. So that's what they need to keep to try to win this game.
Clayton, pocket. Little drop ball down to Black. She'll give it back. More confident this time around. Nice strong hold with the arms. Instead, Sparks have jumped on the rebounds. Loveday, Isles diagonally. Now to Friday in the pocket. She's great at assessing her options, Friday.
Yeah, it definitely helps that she's a little bit taller out there, so able to see things obviously being able to see things from a height compared to some of these shorter players in the midcourt. But that's one of the good things with Sparks is they are quite tall across the court, so they are able to go over the top of things a lot of the time.
She can do the little bird's eye scan.
Yeah.
You could probably do that yourself too most games.
Not often that I don't get a ball in the goal circle though to put the shots up.
Oh, Creelman splits. Hope she's all right. She's up again. There was a bit of miscommunication there between Loveday and Isles, and Creelman picked the ball up, although Friday, great intercept, tip of the hand, pulls the ball in, and Elridge finishes it off.
Yeah, I think it's really important for both teams to be able to notice when you've got players off balance or they've really struggled to take a ball, to be able to stay on those sorts of things to get intercepts off those ones there. Definitely the ones that are going to be easier to get the ball off from.
Now we've just seen a shot of this. This is the Sapphires bench, Jacoba Clough. And I'm told I have another player that's just come back from her second ACL injury, which is not nice.
No, yeah, we've had, obviously with Kim Green coming back as well, like definitely seen how long and hard the recovery is for that. So I tip my hat to her second ACL.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. So it's Zoe Hasler, and she should be back at training over the next few weeks, I think, which is nice.
So, yeah, nice little Canberra girl as well, so makes the trip as well. So I've played against her a couple of times at A&L throughout my career, so nice, smart player out there on court.
It's amazing the commitment some of these players make.
Yeah, I think particularly some of these girls, they want to be the best, and to do that, you've got to be playing in competitions that are going to make you better. We see the same in all these other competitions with imports coming in for our Super Netball and stuff like that as well.
I remember in the first year of Premier League we had Sasha Corbin playing, I believe, for NSU.
Not sure, yeah. It was a
obviously
strange
an England player,
there,
if nobody knows who she is.
Yeah.
Gone on to, did she make the Commonwealth Games team?
I think so.
Gold medal then?
Yeah, gold medalist, yeah.
She's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
It's all Premier League though, let's bring her back to
It was all the playing she had here in New South Wales.
In all honesty though, when you talk to the coaches and about how their players have progressed over these 3 years, they do attribute Premier League to a lot of what they've been able to do.
Yeah. So obviously when I was coming through it was still State League. I haven't had a lot to do with Premier League over the last couple of years, so I was living down in Adelaide the first year and had about 4 or 5 games with Fury, and then only just qualifying for the final series last year with Sparks, so just squeaked in there with an up-round game.
But then made the final, right? So
yeah.
That's where you want to be at the end.
The girls did a lot of the hard work in the season throughout the season. I had a pretty easy job from there.
Snuck in right at the right time.
Yeah.
So Krillman will take the throw in. Elridge unable to keep the ball in play.
I think even if she did, it probably would have been a stepping call. So I think it's easier to do it from a backline throw-in than for them to have the ball on court.
Some people love the little ball that keeps it in play, and other people absolutely hate it. Do you have a view, as long as it comes off?
Yeah, as long as that one comes off. I definitely like the sort of the rebounds that people don't think anyone's actually going to get and being able to pull those ones in. Yeah.
I remember having to ban them one year in our team because everyone thought they were, trying to help us, but in the end you just give the ball back to the other players and they'd end up scoring. It's like, just let it go outside.
Yeah, so it's definitely having the ability to be able to chase after the ball but also sight where your players are so you can give it to someone in your team.
Quick work from Matilda McDonald. Isles running now, gives the ball to Loveday. Now she's going to pass 1 and 2 with Friday, and Elridge has got it. Just trickles over the top. McGugan, nice job going for the rebound.
Sparks were unlucky to get that one. It could have gone either way.
They're still smiling at each other, these two, McGugan and Friday.
Yeah.
O'Shaughnessy. And you know her sister pretty well, I gather.
Yeah, Tigos. Yeah. Yeah, so she's sort of with our Giants camp as well, getting better each time she gets out there, and she just wants to learn so much all the time, and obviously asking all the right questions while she's out there, which has been good to see as well.
Especially as a training partner, because you're not always guaranteed a spot from then on, are you?
Yeah, so she is quite young in terms of training partners and all that sort of stuff, so she'll get there eventually, moving up through the systems, which would be really good for her as well.
So Caitlin Fish has just come on for UTS in the centre position, and you mentioned that her birthday's actually coming up.
Yeah, her birthday's actually tomorrow. It's quite unusual to see Kate there in the middle there, but she did well for the 20s last year in the when they played in the grand final for the Sparks 20s last year. She played really well in there for them as well. So, but traditionally a goal attack, goal shooter, so moving her out on court as well, it seems.
They like to have them play 3 positions.
Yeah.
So that they're nice and versatile, especially when injuries slip into the season. They've also got another goal attack on. We found out who she was before, Danielle Bauer.
Yeah.
Just coming back from her second pregnancy.
I'm not sure, just
coming
back from having a baby. Yeah, got that intel from Amy Parmenter.
You've got the right connections.
Yeah. Sure someone would have told me if I went and asked anyone on the Sparks sideline.
Okay, Manly, top of the circle. Cantwell waiting on the baseline. She's always there, as Bryce mentioned, but Keely Rodrigo, really good positioning of the body, making sure she's not in the contest for the rebound. And Friday, split stance, bit closer to the post, misses. McGugan straight on the crumbs. Nice little spin from Holly O'Shaughnessy as she collects the ball. McGugan now, again to O'Shaughnessy, moving across the court to Cantwell, pass back.
Lots of patient play again from Manly here, not trying to force things too long.
It ends up with Cantwell somehow every time. Little tip from Tuka Toombs.
Yeah, Lauren's one of those players, shortest person in the circle, but usually ends up with a rebound 95% of the time.
The smaller players are harder to defend. You just don't know where they are.
Yeah,
They're so zippy.
Yeah.
Now Black has a free shot. Up by 2, the Sapphires. They've crept into a little lead here with 5 minutes on the clock. Quick work from the Sapphires with the ball. Cantwell always coming to that same spot. But Keely Rodrigo outsmarts her for the rebound.
Yeah, nice lean over the ball. She, being a shorter shooter, obviously the longer arms, she's got to work that much, just a little bit harder to get around those long arms.
What we have seen from Cantwell tonight, though, is plenty of intercepts. She's created a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, definitely a playmaker for Manly out there tonight.
Especially when they've lost the ball or missed a shot. She's always ready for that second phase play.
Yeah.
Ball just flying over the top of the court. It'll be Manly's throw in. McGugan to Toombs. She's got some long arms in front of her and Fisher. Cantwell's got it now. Black, and there's an intercept almost.
Almost, just offside there.
Nice work from Kate Fisher. Little tip from Rodrigo means it goes to Manly. Cantwell. Straight to her shooter.
Quite a smart use of the fake out there to get the front defender moving to open up her shooter under the post.
Is it difficult to master the fake?
Well, people use it to different extents. Some people over-exaggerate the fakes and then they miss what they're actually wanting to throw it to. So it's a bit of a balancing act, really.
Is that something they teach you, though, in your actual camps? Or is it you just pick it up as you go?
Well, obviously everyone wants you to use them out on court. You can hear Julie Fitz a lot on the sideline yelling out that she wants a fake.
Calling out for the fake.
Yeah, so a lot of time at training she goes, well, if you fake that would have worked. Yeah.
There's some Stingrays players at the top of the court watching on. Friday, Give and Go, and Isles just working as a team in the pocket. McGugan straight on the loose ball. O'Shaughnessy now, Toombs in the middle, just offloads to McGugan. Coming through, Clayton. Cantwell over the top to Toombs. Just underneath the defender and Rodrigo. I think she was hoping a little bit more oomph.
Yeah, a little bit more power on that one, yeah.
Sparks pick up the
It'd be really important for Sparks this passage of play. They haven't scored in a while to really work this one in underneath the post and give them the best opportunity to score.
Missed shot. Beryl's able to recollect it. And so Friday joined the squad halfway through last year, is that right?
Yeah, so she made the move from northern Queensland down to New South Wales and into the squad. When I came back, I was not expecting the Beryl to be in my team. I was like, we had Nat in the team last year. I thought she was going to be my shooting partner out there, but yeah, to have the experience of Beryl back in that circle for some of these girls is really good for them as well.
That's a massive move, North Queensland down to Sydney. I'm sure there's a lot more traffic here too.
Traffic everywhere. Yeah. That's the one thing I miss about being in Adelaide, actually, is they're like, oh, there's a bit of traffic, and I'm like, oh, okay, and there's like 3 cars.
Give them the real experience.
Yeah.
It's great to hear you say that, though. They're really passionate about their netball down there because obviously it is a very heavy AFL state.
Yeah. They, yeah, definitely while I was down there, the girls really tried to get me into AFL. It didn't really work, but then signing on with the Giants this year, I've kind of had to learn the game a bit more. And, yeah, particularly when you're over across the road with the boys, like probably about 3 or 4 days a week.
Do you enjoy watching it now?
Yeah, I was one of those people who was being from New South Wales. It's majority rugby league state, so grew up watching that, and Dad's a Richmond supporter, so that was the only time the footy was actually on. So yeah, been a big shift in sort of what we watch on the TV in terms of football. Now it's mainly AFL.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
But obviously Giants fans, not Swans fans.
Yeah, definitely never been Swans fans, because up until I started playing for the Giants, it was sort of Dad being Richmond supporter, and then everyone else just sort of not really being that much interested in AFL.
All right, so at the last break, the Sparks down by 5. Sapphires at 40-35. What did you think about that third quarter?
Bit erratic from Sparks in that third quarter. They, particularly when they made the change throughout the quarter, the girls didn't really settle into their positions as quickly as probably what Moira thought they would have. But nice, real patient play from Manly, which we traditionally see from them.
Yeah, fantastic work too, because they scored 12 goals to 5.
Yeah, definitely don't usually see that happening a lot with Sparks. They've got the experience down there in that circle to be able to score lots of goals just as easily as some of these other teams playing out here tonight, and to see that they'll probably be quite disappointed going into this last quarter with that amount of goals being scored.
It definitely didn't feel like they weren't scoring. Maybe they just weren't able to get it in once they actually got up to that end.
Yeah, so they definitely plenty of attempts going up out there, but yeah, like I was saying earlier, the girls need to recognise when they sort of missed a couple and try work it in a bit closer for an easier shot before they go put those long bombs back up.
What do you miss about Premier League?
I couldn't tell you, actually.
It's probably all the same to you now, isn't it?
Netball's pretty much the same. Obviously, this competition level, it's a little bit easier in terms of playing against some of these defenders than what I get at A&L or further up in the Super Netballs. So, yeah, it's definitely a bit different to what you get here, but I really love being able to come back and play with some of these girls that I've grown up playing with.
So we can see one of the under-20s players just getting strapped up and ready for her game after this. That game starts at 8:40 and will be streamed right where you're watching now, actually. So you can tune back in for that one. It's going to be a really good game, actually, because Manly and UTS have both only retained about 4 players from each of their sides. So really excited to see the fresh talent they've got coming through.
Yeah, so Sparks obviously had quite a old team in their 20s last year, so a lot of them had to move up into opens or that sort of thing. So a lot of them just decided they needed a bit of a change and go into different franchises as well. So some people say change is as good as the holidays.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And obviously, Christina, you're from out west.
Yeah.
So you started playing netball out there?
Yeah, so I started out at Mount Druitt, just the local association. It's about 5 minutes away from me. The commentators at Super Netball definitely love the girl from Mount Druitt. Not sure how much I enjoy it, but it's just a part of who I am and all that sort of stuff. People are a bit like, oh, so you're from Mount Druitt. But it's part of who I am. It's where I've come from, and I'm actually quite proud to be able to say that I've played for them.
Did you play any other sport growing up, or was it just netball through and through?
I did a bit of basketball as well. Played a season of reps there. I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I was playing rep netball at the same time. Wasn't enjoying it as much as I was as netball, but then broke my arm. I was quite clumsy as a young kid. Broke my arm, and then I was managed to convince the physio to clear me just to play netball and not basketball. And then when the girls made the finals back there at basketball, I hadn't played enough and couldn't play finals. And I wasn't too bummed about that either.
Just supporting from the sideline as if you're part of the team.
Yeah, back when I was playing there, you had to play, like every player has to play at least each half. And I remember taking a trip out to Manly to play against them, and their fully timed games there, the game went for about 2.5 hours, and I think it played about 14 seconds.
Yeah, it is a difficult sport, isn't it? I mean, we talk about netball and sometimes training partners and younger girls not getting a go, but I'm sure that they get much more of a go than people do in basketball.
Yeah, obviously we've reduced how many we can have on the bench. It obviously reduces how much opportunity some of these younger players get, but with the strength of the competition in A&L, these girls are going to be pushing through quite soon.
So we're back out on court. Sapphires scoring the first goal of the match. And UTS are on the charge now. Little drop pass between the two players, Friday and Isles.
Yeah, Sparks have gone back to their starting combination there, back in the circle. We brought Bella Loveday back on as well, just to try to get some steady and some consistency out there on court.
Black's been pretty consistent tonight. We saw her miss a few attempts early, but as mentioned before, she's really got into a rhythm and then hasn't missed a beat after that.
the Sparks defenders really need to sort of try to change up what they're doing out there, try to make her second guess herself on these shots, where it's really hard once the shooter gets into a rhythm to try to get some misses happening out there.
Watika Toombs with the centre pass. Good work there, deciding for the best option through Clayton through the middle. Black to Toombs. Top of the edge of the circle. And we see Black taking it to the post. It's lovely work from her. She pushes the Sapphires to 43. Now we've seen Tilly McDonald swap with Cara Stiles. Stiles now in that wing defence position.
Yeah, still sort of like a new position for Cara out there. We usually see her in a circle somewhere, so just gives them a bit of, she's quite those long limbs out there, a bit gangly over Georgia Clayton, and then bring Tilly into the circle where she can probably match up a bit better on Lauren Cantwell. They're a bit similar in height.
This is an exciting passage of play. Black, challenged by McDonald, and it works. The ball just skirting over the edge. Sparks with it. Loveday. She'll use Rodrigo.
A bit stuck here. Manly's thrown on a bit of a mid-court zone. We need some of these Sparks players to drive through to sort of draw it so that they can open up space further down the court. You
can see Isles grimacing and pulling her face. She wants more people to do exactly what you're talking about,
yeah,
Chrissy.
She wants more movement out there, wants something to throw it to.
It's big stagnant at the moment, and the patience, while it's as a step, mistake force. Patience, while it's good, sometimes you still need movement off the ball to make things work.
Yeah, I think that's probably more a bit of frustration from Isles out there more than actually putting the step out there. So good work from Manly out there.
Clayton. Styles just challenging from behind. Toombs looking to feed.
Belle Loveday there, forgetting she can't actually go in that circle.
That was a lovely feed. Direct ball from Toombs to Cantwell. Black's on the crumbs and finishes it off.
Yeah.
Sapphire's just edging that little bit forward now. 44 over the Sparks 37. Quick movement from Cantwell. Clayton pushing it over the top of the circle. And lovely work. Toombs to Black through the net. Isles is driving hard behind her player, but O'Shaughnessy's actually doing really well keeping her out of it at the moment.
She really is. They're having trouble down there trying to find some players and some space, so they just really need to work on and off the circle edge there. She's finding herself planted on the circle edge a bit too much, I reckon.
The pressure's worked in Manly's favour. Little Tip has seen them get the ball back. Black will go back into the midcourt. Transverse line, O'Shaughnessy gives it to Cantwell. Toombs, Cantwell. Both defenders out of play, free shot.
Bit unlucky for those girls there. Sometimes the shorter players in there are able to draw those obstruction calls a bit easier than when they're against a taller shooter.
Clayton, she's got a smile on her face as she looks to feed. She gives it to Toombs on the pocket. Black just hanging back a little bit, finds some space, and she'll find the space through the net too. 10 goals now. It's a massive lead, 47-37. Sapphires leading the Sparks.
9 minutes is still a long time though, so it's still doable for the Sparks at this stage.
Chrissy Bryce is still keeping her hopes up for her old team. Our Ridge now.
It'll do them a lot of confidence. They had a tough day at the office last week. Both Sparks teams going down against North Shore out there last week, so it'd be good for them to get a win and get some confidence going into the next week.
A bit unexpected too, because the Sparks teams we know in the first 2 seasons have always been very dominant.
Yeah.
Especially that we saw both of them make the grand final last year.
I think that definitely the changeover of rosters. We've had massive changes in both the Opens and the 20s coming into this season, so it's going to take them a bit longer to settle into combinations.
Black in the pocket. Loveday really sticking on the body of Toombs.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job though. It's harder when you're shorter to defend. Toombs, easy ball into Black. Elridge on the inside channel, gives it back to Styles. They're still stuck. They need help getting around these tall, manly defenders. Great 3 feet. There we go. Little bounce pass around the side. Friday has found some space away from McGugan.
Yeah, the Sparks girls are definitely getting stuck in these sort of dead zone pockets that they're finding really hard to get out of, so needing to get some more options out there on court.
I'm just writing that one down too, dead zone.
Dead zone.
Love your work. Cantwell misses. Tilly McDonald straight on the loose ball. Isles to McDonald. Probably could have put it down, but happy to keep moving and keep the play fast. Although it was too fast that time.
Yeah, the Sparks defenders are definitely getting enough ball back. They just need to be able to capitalise it down the other end.
Is it hard when you can look at the scoreboard so easily here and to get your head back in the game and say, yep, no, we can still actually do this?
It's sometimes, like, obviously in these sort of competitions, it is a bit hard for some players, particularly when Sparks have been one of those teams that have been quite dominant across the last couple of seasons to be in this sort of position. But, yeah, some players definitely work their way out of it easier than others, so hopefully we can work something out here for them.
So seeing some changes made. Isles is either coming off.
She's coming into centre.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've got our friend Danielle Bella back on the court, running attack. Loveday moved to the bench. Isles, just edge of the circle, gives it to Bauer. Elridge in front. There's a lot of energy in that defensive midcourt in terms of Krillman and McGugan. They're just constantly jumping, constantly in their face.
Yeah, they've played together for a couple of seasons now, so yeah, they've got a really good combination working back there. And like Hannah had been back there at goalkeeper, she's got a bit of experience behind her as well, so able to lead these younger players out on court.
Friday to Bauer. Isles. Elridge. Beryl's calling for it, although they've got it at the edge of the circle in Bauer. Isles, arm up, wants the ball, gives it to Elridge. Here we go, shot to the post. Missed opportunity. That's smart. Got the ball back with the throw in. Friday, really give it to me. Oh.
I tried the quick one too with Nat there under the post.
A bit unlucky for Hannah Krillman. Could have gone either way. Look at them, they're happy. High-fiving.
Yeah. Shooters still love a bit of a high-five out there. It's
that was almost AFL-like.
Yeah.
The little tip back to each other. Black no-look pass to Toombs, ends up in her hands.
That was a good opportunity for Sparks to pick something off. Just needed a bit of communication between Tilly and Isles.
Sparks centre. They're down by 12. What can they do here? Isles driving hard through the middle. And that's nice work defensively from Hannah Krillman. Little tip gets the ball away. Sparks in the pocket need to work back into the circle now. Around they go. Isles. A little whistle here. Some tired bodies starting to give up contact easier than before. Friday in front says, let's just do it.
Yeah. She means business when she's like that.
Game face on, straight into it. Black goes to Toombs, who's loose on the left-hand side. Up and over now, she gives it back to Black. These two working really well together. Give and go, Rodrigo. Just edges out. McDonald with the ball, gives it to Styles. Isles. We'll get an opportunity for the Sparks here. Rodrigo to McDonald, driving forward. Isles in the middle of the court, heading up the left-hand side.
Just struggling a bit with Sparks coming out in transition. Need to do a bit more at prelim work to get free out there on court.
And they've got a goal. They're 10 behind, so 3.5 minutes on the clock. Sapphires are leading the Sparks. Should mention, if you're tuning in late, that the Sapphires beat the Sparks in the grand final last year. Of course, the Sparks have a whole different team this year. But they'll be pretty happy if they can secure sort of the same result as they did last year. Clayton was driving long before the whistle was blown for that centre pass. And that's a lovely intercept from Cara Styles. Read the play beautifully.
Yeah, I think unfortunately for Manly, Georgia just tried to run in behind those long arms.
Elridge.
Steph a bit unhappy out there with that call.
You can tell by the body language, can't you? Bit of a massage happening here, getting Kate Fisher ready for... Well, I don't think she's playing under 20s this year.
No,
So
she's a bit old for 20s now. So
bit old.
maybe loosen her up for training on the weekend or something.
Elridge, little way out. Trickles over the top.
I suppose why you got a physio here that you don't have to pay for. You might as well use them.
I'd like a massage, please. What sort? Oh, something.
Just everything.
Bauer Friday and Steph McGugan smiling this whole game. Clayton coming up for that centre pass to Cantwell. Toombs has got it now. Loose ball. Styles unlucky to get that. Cantwell gives it to Clayton. And she'll feed it to Black, who's in front. Little way out. Still goes in. 53-43. This is 45. This is starting to blow out a little bit now. Bounce pass around.
Oh, nice opening up there in the circle. Nice strong drive from Isles out there to draw a keeper.
Elridge had space all on her own.
Yeah, all back at home base on her own.
Collision here. Manly ball. Cantwell. Black. Quick give back with Clayton. Up and in. Just over a minute of the clock. 8 goals difference.
It'd be very encouraging to see Sparks be able to bring this back to as close to the deficit as possible to give them a bit of confidence towards the back half of the season when they come up against them later.
They've definitely been able to meet the competitiveness in the first half of the game, definitely.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate third quarter out there for them.
Well, they do call it a championship quarter for a reason, don't they? Toombs.
Just a bit of lapse of concentration in the girls there in that third quarter.
And so many position changes as well having to be made with obviously the A&L restrictions and trying to give everyone some court time to get back into Premier League action.
Yeah.
Oh, a little tip from Steph McGugan to start off the centre pass. That's
and
good
she still
signs.
ends up with the ball anyway. He comes off Friday last.
Tips it into Friday. And that'll be it. Round 2 of the Premier League that opens on the Showcourt. The UTS St George Sparks tonight falling to the Sapphires 55-47. We'll be back in a sec to wrap it all in front of the camera. Well, Chrissy Bryce, it's been fantastic to have you back in the Premier League arena. Although not playing on the sideline, you've done well with your commentary tonight. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been really great to be able to look at netball from a different angle. It's a bit different, like sitting on the sideline compared to being out on court. You see things differently when you're not actually out there, so it's been really good.
And share some of the stories about your teammates when they can't hear you. They can't hear what you're saying about them.
Yeah, they definitely don't know what I'm saying about them, but try not to say too much about them that they probably wouldn't enjoy having out there.
So the Sapphires too good again for UTS tonight. We talked about that third quarter being the real difference there with 12 goals to 5.
Yeah, obviously Sparks had a bit of lax concentration there, not being able to capitalise on their turnovers. The defenders were doing a wonderful job out there trying to get the ball back for their team, but just weren't able to convert back in the shooting circle.
Now I'm going to sort of throw you under the bus here. Give me a player of the match, one or two from each side.
I think player of the match would be either Lauren Cantwell or Georgia Clayton out there for Sapphires, and then maybe Amy Parmenter and Tilly McDonald out there. She really came on and made an impact both in wing defence and at goal defence.
Thank you, Chrissy. We're looking forward to having you back for the second game on here tonight. So tune in shortly. We'll have under-20s action here on the Showcourt between the UTS St George Sparks and Manly Sapphires from 8:40. Make sure you tune in then. Welcome back to the Janaea Netball Centre. I'm Brittany Carter. Here on the Showcourt, we're gearing up for the Under-20s UTS St George Sparks and Manly Sapphires. And we're expecting pretty big things because there's a lot of fresh young talent in both these sides, and yet they're both hungry for a win. Coming into this match off the back of first-round losses. Yes, an interesting start to the Under-20s, especially for UTS, having been runners-up in 2016, the champions last season, and now heading into this match off the back of a 20-goal loss last week. But giant shooter Christina Bryce, as someone who's played Premier League, I'm sure you can vouch that we've sort of come to expect absolutely nothing in the Premier League. You can't really make a prediction.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to make predictions, particularly so early in the season. With a lot of new girls coming into the teams and a big upheaval through particularly Sparks, it's been hard for them to sort of find a consistent flow for them out there.
We'll just run through the teams quickly. So for Manly tonight, Jade Harding in shooter and Jacoba Clough with her in goal attack. Sophia Metaxoli is in wing attack. Chelsea Mann with her in the midcourt. Millie Bowen is in goal defence. Maddie Melville is in goalkeeper, and Emily Wise in wing defence. Now for UTS, we've got Kaimani Schwenke in goal shooter, Georgia Westwood in goal attack, Chase Fazzalo in wing attack, Caitlin Campbell, the captain tonight, in centre, Jess Bowden in wing defence, and Ash Selwyn in goalkeeper. Kaimani Schwenke just taking
goal defence on this
goal defence. Jess Bowden, thank you for keeping me in line, Bryce. So Sparks first on the board. What are you most, looking forward to seeing from these under-20s?
Just sort of to see what sort of intensity and stuff they can bring to the game. We're seeing a lot, particularly through the Opens team, with not a lot of the girls being able to get consistent court time with the A&L competition running along. So them really stamping their mark on the competition here to be able to get some time up in their Opens teams as well.
Clough makes it one from mum with Manly's first goal in this under-20s match.
Bit different to the Opens team out there with a bit of a taller goal attack compared to Lauren Cantwell.
You see goalkeeper in Manly just lucky, right place, right time with the ball then. So for both of these sides, they're really new look teams. I think they've only retained 4 players each from last season. Soli's attempt to feed just thwarted by Selwyn, although they're quick around this edge of the circle, Manly. Jade Harding with the ball now, back to Soli. Clough in front, that's a nice hold by Selwyn. Unfortunate, obviously they got the goal in, but yeah, good defence early.
Yeah, Manly in their 20s are obviously going to be a bit patient with their ball as well, not wanting to force things early in the game, try to get an early lead out there.
So you're saying it's a club mentality, the patience?
Yeah, probably is. The coaches, they work really well together between their 20s and their Opens teams, so it's probably something that goes through their whole system.
UTS doing well to turn the ball over and create an opportunity here. Big ball from Campbell to Westwood. Up and over.
Bit of offensive contact there from the shooter.
It's not
Don't
usually
see them
picked
a
up
lot.
this early either. Vassallo jumping on the loose ball. Caitlin Campbell quick to fix her mistake too. And Swanky makes it 2 from 2. The Sparks and the Sapphires tied 2 apiece. 3 minutes into the first quarter. Campbell to Westwood now. Seems to be some radio on in the background.
Yeah, probably forgot to turn it off. Maybe they're playing the Origin out there for people wanting to watch that instead of the netball.
Sparks in front. That's 2 in a row for them. They lead the Sapphires by 1. Emily Wise, long ball. Goes out, almost takes out the photographer. Selwyn will take the throw in for UTS. Campbell, quick work back to Selwyn. Moving up the court now. They've gone lateral. Come back. Just creating space with some tight Manly defence. Westwood's got it inside the circle. Wow, lovely shot. Interesting wrist movement from Westwood too.
Bit of a high risk pass, that one, the long cross-court ball. From like this first whistle, seen Sparks play a lot down the sidelines, so it'd be good to see them bring the ball through the middle of the court a bit more, make it a bit easier for each other out there.
And those passes probably aren't needed so early, the risky ones.
Yeah, the first quarter is definitely a good one to sort of get yourself into the game and settle as much as possible, so they're not the sort of things you want to be throwing at the start of the game.
Lovely little tip and intercept from UTS. Oh, how did Caitlin Campbell end up with that ball?
Her eyes for the ball only.
Wow. Miracles do happen.
Put her body on the line, she certainly did.
Sparks just being told to settle. Really holding on to the passes. Oh, beautiful feed. Campbell to Swanky. Lovely vision. Little tip from Swanky, trying to keep it in play.
Sure, the coaches won't be happy with that one. They like to say if you can get one hand to it, you can definitely get two to it.
They're tough, aren't they, coaches?
Yeah.
All these expectations.
Yeah.
Masalo. Campbell. Westwood now offloads to Caitlin Campbell. That's a lovely bit of defence work from the goal defence for Manly.
Oh, nearly a nice intercept there from Jess Bowden.
Working up the outside channel. Oh, Selwyn almost went out of play, but she did well to recover. Campbell looking for an option now goes to Hilton. And she'll give it back to Campbell. She's in the midcourt. She's got two options. This is good work by UTS. They seem to have two options each time they get the ball, although there'll be a turnover here. Is that stepping?
No,
Offside?
offside. Another centre that wants to play in the circle.
You can't be everywhere, guys. Oh, collision. Nice work holding on to the ball. Taxoli gives it to Harding, and she's given it back. Both sent out. A lot happening. Clough will get free pass, free shot. Nice step in. Lovely work. Sparks up by 3. 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Clough to Harding. Gives it to Mann. Just working on the outside of her player. Clough really well to be able to get some space behind Selwyn. She's been good early, Ash Selwyn, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's usually one of those ones that picks off a lot of ball right at the start of the game, so really needs to try get out there and turn to the post and get some early goals in to try to get on top of her early.
Manly moving quick up the court here. Come out in the pocket with Jade Harding. Oh, they've lost the ball.
It's a lot of nice, strong defensive pressure from Jess Bowden and Kate Campbell out there, allowing the Spark Circle defenders to do their job quite easily in the circle and only worry about what they've got to do back there.
Hilton, one hand grab. And they're working across the court here, the Sparks. Oh, nicely read by Metaxoli. There's been a few of those early on, just right place, right time, waiting for the ball. Clough now, baseline shot. Right hand dominant, lovely little swish. Taxoli coming straight out for the ball from Mann. They're playing on. Harding almost gives, decides to hang on that little bit longer, and it's probably a good idea. Got to Clough easily. Nice little touch from Millie Boehm. Harding, back to Mekataksoli. Step.
Replay.
Replay.
Replay, yeah.
Little mistake. Coaches don't like those, definitely. Swanky just able to find that tiny bit of space behind her defender. Sparks are up by 1 now. Sapphires edging closer. It's a Sapphires centre. Turnover. Ash Selwyn's got the ball. She gives it to Campbell, moving up the inside channel. Westwood in the pocket, just pops the ball up over the top. It's not good enough. The defenders from Manly are too good, chasing it. Although UTS will get another opportunity here with the throw-in. Usalo, Campbell. Outside pass to Westwood now. Real smart downwards 1-2. That's a give and go 3 times. Accurate. Very accurate.
Yes, definitely one of those confidence players. Loves to go to the post. If you can get on top of her early as a defender, it will definitely affect her game.
Coming through then, Emily Wise. Just getting a disruption. Swanky, she did well to get the ball then. She was under heavy challenge, although she's missed the shot, and Manly have jumped on the crumbs. Here we go, Man, Boehm, working hard now. Man, backwards drive 2. Metaxoli, Harding, Clough. Good challenge for the ball from Hilton. And Selwyn's like a jack-in-the-box.
One too many there from Ash.
Intimidation?
Obstruction.
One or the other, right?
Yeah, had to be something.
There's a Manly subs on the bench. Taking notes.
Bit of stats for the coaches there, maybe.
Their own coaches.
Yeah.
Clough really found a great position underneath the net then. Nice assist from Harding. It's 8 apiece. Wow. 4 minutes of play in this first quarter. This has been a fast-paced game so far.
Yeah, it's really important for these shooters out there to be able to capitalise as soon as possible. There's a lot of ball being turned over and it's going up and down the court quite a lot. So being able to score off anything that we get is definitely going to help you win the game.
Well, something both of these coaches spoke about ahead of this match that they wanted to improve on from last round was consistency. And also converting turnovers that they're getting.
Yeah.
I believe Virginia Welsh, who's head coach of the Manly. Oh, wow.
I'm not sure how that happened.
That was just a series of fingertip passes. Yes, Virginia Welsh said one of the big things too was not only capitalising on the turnover, but then making sure that you convert that centre pass so you get 2 goals up and 2 goal gains.
Well, it's in a game of netball, it's a given that you're going to get every second centre pass. So the team that wins the game is usually the one that can capitalise on their turnover ball.
Throwing the ball at the umpire will always get you pulled up. Although we're going to see a throw in from Ash Selwyn on the baseline. Hilton now, back to Selwyn. You can see Westwood. Hilton, even going in the middle. Campbell, Hilton, Westwood in the pocket. Rather. Okay, Westwood, 2 dummies, doesn't work, takes a different option. Looks like it might go in. Kai Swanky with a little tip, giving an assist.
Yeah, if you're definitely not going to get up there with 2 hands, knowing where your teammate is and having the best opportunity for your teammate to get the ball definitely helps too.
They're really well matched with height in that circle, aren't they?
Yeah, even though Westwood's a bit of a shorter shooter, she is quite strong for goal attack of her age, so it's good to see her being able to keep up out there as well.
Oh, thrown into the hands of Metaxoli. Manly created an opportunity here. Free pass. Clough comes up to the top of the circle calling for it, and now she's Edged herself around, found a good position. Left-hand side, through the hoop. Sparks leading by 1, but it's a Manly centre, and they just scored off a Sparks centre. So let's see if they can capitalise what their coach was talking about now. Being able to convert their own centre pass. Mann gives the ball to Clough. Here we go. Can she go back to back? No. Ball out. Oh, Patty Hilton just putting her body on the line. Manly throw in. Harding. No look pass to Clough. Really challenging each other for that ball. It's a good contest.
Yeah, it's good to see the girls trying to put some stuff out there that's a bit different early in the game, working on their connections, which will help them later on in the game.
Nice strong pass into the middle of the court. Masalo gives it back to Campbell. She's running with it now. Westwood, Campbell, creating options all over the court. Really directing the play there, centre.
Yeah, the Sparks are getting a bit stuck just over their transverse line. So the unfortunate thing about having so much speed across the court is that they do find themselves with just the shooter back home on her own and everyone else in behind them. So maybe need to being able to slow the ball down a little bit every now and again.
Well, the first 15 minutes is up and the Sparks are only up by 2 goals. It was a pretty close first quarter.
Yeah, a bit up and down and could have gone anyone's way, but Sparks just been able to capitalise a little bit easier than Sapphires at the moment.
Has anyone impressed you so far?
It's a bit early to say, but yeah.
I'm asking tough things from you. Sorry,
I think it's just the girls all over the court are just working really well in combinations with each other.
Now we're going to talk a little bit more about A&L now. So last weekend was round 5.
Yeah.
And we saw the New South Wales Waratahs play 2 games at home against the Southern Force, one of your old teams. And I guess both of them are your old teams.
Both of my own teams, yeah.
So New South Wales won they won the first game on Saturday 56-44, and they lost the second game on Sunday 58-56. So a really tight loss there. They're sitting in 4th place. Have you had a look at their lineup this year at all?
Not really had a look at them too much. The Waratahs, obviously, they've got the experience of some of the girls being the training partners with the Swifts, and then obviously the second game, the girls can sort of drop back for the games on the weekend as well. So it's good to see that they can put the performance out there without their Super Netball players in the first games as well.
Someone here you might know a little bit more about are the Canberra Giants. So they won both of their games against the Western Sting in Western Australia on the weekend. Yeah, so pretty comprehensively too. The first game 57-44 and 62-38. Who do you know in that team?
So we've got a lot of our training partners in there, and all the other girls in the team. Julie likes to give them the opportunity to come in and train with us whenever we need a couple of extra bodies out there for match play. So it's good to see the girls take those opportunities as well when they're given to them, and actually they come in here and they open minds and really want to learn as much as they can.
We've spoken about Premier League leading to a lot of opportunities in netball higher up, but the A&L is really important too, because we see someone like Sophie Garvin, who was the grand final MVP last year for the Western Sting, picked up by the Swifts. So obviously the battle against battle gives New South Wales coaches a chance to get a good look at her.
Yeah, it definitely helps. The girls, we usually find that the girls that put out really good performances on the A&L stage, that's where the coaches usually look the first time for players in terms of filling up their rosters, or even just training partner position when they promote some of their training partners into their rosters.
Now, I was talking to Kate Eddy about this last week, but the Tasmania Magpies lost their first game of the season by 2 goals, then gone on to win every other game they've played with pretty impressive margins. So I actually said to Kate, Tasmania, no offence, guys, but who would have thought that they would be leading the competition? Well done to them. And she was sort of saying that Collingwood players are dropping back and playing for them too. Yeah,
I think the fact that they're aligned with Collingwood Magpies in the Super Netball, they've got the opportunity to pick up a couple more players from Melbourne as well. The girls wanting to have the opportunity to come up into the Magpies if injuries or anything occur. So they're using it as an opportunity for them to still be able to play at the A&L level if they don't make the Victorian Fury side.
So if they can do it in the A&L, why can't the Magpies do it in Super Netball? What's going on there?
I just think it's...
Is there that big a jump between the two competitions?
Not really. I think it's just sort of with the way the couple of rule changes and stuff out there at the moment that every quarter's very tightly contested, and I think there's just some teams that are a bit better than others, have been able to finish out quarters and been able to do all the little things right.
All right, so we're heading back out now for the second quarter of this match. UTS Sparks up against the Manly Sapphires. Sparks currently leading by 2 goals. It's been a really fast and tight contest so far. You can already see a change for Manly in their wing defence option. Campbell, edge of the circle in the pocket. Nice little tip from Bowen.
Nicely done by Westwood there to be able to find her teammate with the full body pressure coming from the goalkeeper.
Attack solely going back to that wing defence. Really moving up the outside channel. Over the top. Oh, big commando roll. (13-11). Sparks have come out strong. Losing the ball. Clough jumps on it. Attack solely to Mann. Building now, building into the circle. Clough. Selma with the two-handed defence.
Trying to change it up a bit out there, trying to make the shooter second guess what they're going to do in their shots.
A little bit of contact from behind. And just Bowden. Manly pick up the ball. Oh, well done. Lovely feed. It's almost as if Harding was a distraction then.
Yeah,
from the real
and it was a
plan.
nice quick turn from Clough there to be able to draw the get the keepers with their putting their hands up too early.
Oh, ball comes off Bowen's hands and into Manly's possession. Little tip from Caitlin Campbell doesn't help, unfortunately. In the pocket now, Mitak Soli. Over the top, Clough. She likes to ride the baseline too, just like Cantwell.
Yeah. Must be a goal attack thing out of Manly.
The patience and the baseline.
Yeah.
Massive pass. Have done well to get it up here so quickly, the Sparks. Down they go with the bounce pass. Up and in. Sparks working quick now on angles. Oh, that was lucky though. Vasala was able to fix the mistake. Puts a lot of pressure through her wrist, doesn't she, as she takes the shot?
Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual shooting technique, but it's like everything else. There's not one technique, like textbook technique for everyone. It's sort of what works for them, and people with different body shapes and all that have obviously got, they work it biomechanically differently, so just figuring out what works for everyone.
Up and in for Jade Harding. 15 apiece we are with 11 minutes on the clock, 4 gone. Nice work from Mann. Oh, up and over. Hilton's got in the way. Although they're still able to get under the post, Manly. Oh, just rolls
one of those
in.
that rolls in.
Ah, lovely feed. This is fast work by Manly. They've really... Well, you can't even say they're sort of in front because look at the score. I mean, they're up by 2, but it's been very close.
I just think Sapphires have started to do some nice angles and stuff on the ball, whereas Sparks have gotten a little bit lateral in this quarter, particularly the start of this quarter.
So the wing defence that's come on for Manly is Ellen Brown. As Mann gets us underway with another Manly centre. Harding coming back into midcourt. And Bowen. Mann now. Across the court, Metaxoli. She's waiting for Clough to drive, but Harding's come outside instead. Edge of the circle. Clough. Good challenge with Selwyn. Nice hold.
Nice smart play from Sapphires there, being able to see where the free players are over the mess that Sparks are starting to create down in their defensive end.
Campbell, little dummy, gives it to Westwood. Now, I love this story about Georgia Westwood. Playing in the grand final last year, had her formal the same night.
Yeah.
So
rushed off after the game.
Went and got some photos, came, played netball, went back to the formal.
Yeah.
After winning the grand final.
Yeah, I definitely don't know that feeling. I was on a plane to Jamaica when my school formal was on, so playing for Australia on the way to Jamaica. So I definitely think I got the better deal out of that. So.
It's funny you should say that because the level of commitment to make it in this sport is so big that you do miss a lot of social stuff, don't you?
Yeah, so obviously everyone, when they finish netball here, when they finish school, year 12 here in New South Wales, they go on schoolies. So all my mates went camping up the North Coast, and then I had a holiday in LA. Everyone's like, are you coming? Yeah, nah.
Too busy, sorry guys.
Sorry. I'll just go to Disneyland instead.
So it wasn't a netball holiday, it was an actual holiday.
Well, we played netball and then stayed in LA on the way home with the stopover stopping there, so...
Oh, great.
Just take your opportunities when you can.
That's right. Long ball. Attack Soli with the free pass. Some good defence here from Jess Bowden. They're all arms, the UTS players, aren't they? And very good with their 3 feet.
Very good long limbs and very smart with how they to keep themselves in play. Just a little bit of a silly one there from Ash Selwyn, as I say that.
It's commentator's curse. You'll get used to it, Chris.
Yeah. Now I know how it feels when people say like that about me when I'm playing.
So the Sapphires are up by 3 now. 21-18, they lead the UTS St George Sparks. Mann just does a Hail Mary, hoping it'll get to someone, and it ends up in the hands of Attack Soli. Harding's got it, she'll give it back to Mann. Trying to create space here. They're squished with this great defence by UTS. Jacoba Clough round the ring and through. Very serious in the Manly camp.
Yeah, there's not a lot of instruction and stuff coming out from there, whereas they're very vocal out there on the Sparks bench.
Signs that things are going well, maybe. Harding straight onto the post, free, on her own, able to get the ball through.
Yeah.
What do you get from Julie Fitzgerald? Is she a yeller or is she a very quiet, calm, composed person?
Julie Fitzgerald has a very distinct voice, so you can definitely hear it no matter where you are out on court. Yeah, so at times she'll get quite vocal, and then other times you sort of look over there and she's not really got much to say. So
she's thinking.
It depends what situation we're in. We definitely like a bit of a come from behind, but I'm not sure Julie enjoys it as much as we do.
Well, the Giants did so well in their first year last season, and unfortunately the grand final just got away, didn't it?
Yeah, we started really well in that game, and then we sort of came away from our game plan, and then by the time we sort of started coming back to it, it was a bit too much too soon, like too late. So Yeah, it was good to get the win over Lightning in that first round as well.
Can you give us a little insight into what that game plan was? I mean, it's gone now, and often you hear that, it's just, they don't really give you much when you ask about the game plan. But because that game's gone, can you give us a hint on what you sort of strayed away from?
Well, so obviously we had a change up in our attacking end with Susan Pettit moving out onto the wing attack. It was working really well for us, so we sort of tried to stick with what we did. That worked really well with us against Vixens the week before.
Yeah.
And we just sort of found ourselves once Lightning sort of figured out how Trutley was going to play out there at wing attack, we needed to be smart enough to change it up, and it just took us a little bit too long to do that, unfortunately.
Campbell kicking it off for Sparks. For Salo. Giving the ball back to Campbell. Are really good anticipating the play and directing the play where they want to go next with the ball.
Yeah, a lot of these girls, they've sort of played.
Just having a little snap.
Yeah, they're sort of playing their schoolgirls and stuff together. So, yeah, they're quite used to playing with each other and know where they want to be and all those sorts of things.
So 4.5 minutes before we hit half-time. The Sparks down by 3, 24-21 against the Stingrays.
They're not playing the Stingrays.
What am I saying? Looking up at the top courts. It's Wednesday night. Come on, give me a break.
It's hump day.
In all seriousness, though, you've been able to pull me up a few times. Some good stuff. You've got to concentrate at all times, huh? So Campbell at the top, feeding to Swanky. Some good talking here on the Sparks bench.
The Sparks 20s girls tell me they have the best manager in the competition. She likes to cook them some food after the game.
Oh.
I was helping myself a little bit over there.
So what did she cook?
She's got a bit of like chicken meatballs and some brownies and stuff over there. Nice selection of fruit, so that's what the girls tell me. I'm sure other people think the same thing about their managers.
Ash Selwyn with the throw-in for the Sparks. Down by 2 goals and 3 minutes on the clock, so these are tense moments as we head into half-time. It's a win for Manly, who get the throw-in.
Unfortunately for Kate out there, she's just sort of running behind those longer arms of some of those opposition players, and a bit hard for the defenders on taking the back line throw-in to be able to see her.
Good work from Hilton. Jay Harding is able to find space just coming around the back of her player. Little tip. Ensures the ball doesn't go in. Hilton to Selwyn. Have to go pass back because there's no one to pass to. Selwyn's asking everyone to come forward. Throws a bit of a Hail Mary. It's lucky it comes off. Quick play here. Westwood Vassallo. Swanky. Up and in. The persistence is working for the Sparks.
Yeah, they're sort of been a bit patient towards the end of this quarter, which has been working out for them. Just waiting for things to open up in the circle, not forcing too many things.
They're having to go the long way, but you're right, the patience is there, and it's paying off. Campbell with the centre pass. To Vassallo, up and over. In the pocket. Swanky. Up and in. They're coming back in the Sparks. There's only 1 goal difference. Manly centre. With 1:40 on the clock. Looking to score again. Harding, strong stance, up and in. They make it 2. Pushing for a little bit of a lead as they head into half-time. Vassallo gives it to Campbell backwards. Up and over. Westwood keeps the ball in play with a little hand to it. And a Swanky.
Yeah, Westwood's doing a lot of work out there at the moment. It would be good to see some bit of 1-2 between the wing attack centre to allow her to get back into the circle sooner.
So some more work between the mid-quarters would free up the shooters to find some space early. And Clough is able to do it from a mile out.
Yeah.
Confident shooter. Running on is Vassallo. Gives it back to Campbell. Here we go. Centre. She needs something from the attack. Just like Chrissy mentioned before, and that opens up Westwood to come in front. All right, 30 seconds on the clock. There's one goal in this. Turnover. Campbell just waiting back. Decides to sneak in and steal the pass. Vassallo looking for someone now. She's got Campbell up and over. She's underneath. She's going to step back. Rebound. Swanky does well. 10 on the clock. They're level. 6 seconds left. It's a UTS centre. That's nice work from Melville. Manly did well to hold the possession then and keep it.
They did well to
apiece.
not allow Sparks to score that one, so they come into, even though it's an even quarter here, they come into the third quarter with the centre pass.
So UTS actually outscored Manly in that second quarter, 17-15. Not by much. It's really tight.
Yeah, they're really putting their bodies on the line out there, wanting to obviously get the best for them. The Sparks coming off a massive loss last week, trying to make up for it and get their campaign off to a good start.
So let's get back to A&L for just a little bit. Obviously you haven't been watching a whole heap of it because of all your netball commitments, but is there someone you think is making a strong stance for the top this year?
Vic Fury is always one of those teams that's always up there. They seem to, even if they don't have good starts to the season, they always seem to find their way back up into the top four somehow. Very competitive. It's always, you always know what you're going to expect from a Victorian team. And I think it's pretty much anyone else's game out there as well. We do see a lot of the Suncorp players drop back to help out these teams throughout the season, but it's going to be the girls that can win the games without their Super Netball players throughout the rounds that are going to definitely be there for the grand final.
So you mentioned the Vic Fury, and they're actually leading the top of the ladder, so that's a good pick. Tasmanian Magpies in second, Canberra Giants in third, and Netball New South Wales Waratahs in fourth. So the ANL has the week off this weekend, just like you guys in Super Netball. New South Wales will play 2 games at home right here at the Janae Netball Centre next week. Next week. Yeah, so both us and Canberra are going to be here because we've got the double header up the road. So all the games will be here in Sydney this weekend. So it'll be really good for the girls to get some home crowd and get some of these vocal fans out there watching them play. Now we saw the international fixtures have been released. Are you looking forward to watching? You've actually been a training partner with the Diamonds before, haven't you?
Yeah, I went over to South Africa and England with them at the start before the Super Netball season last year. It'd be really interesting to see, obviously, the girls coming off the loss in the grand final for the Com Games, to see how they regather after that and what Lisa does with the team out there as well, as to whether she sticks with what she's got there or if she puts some changes out there as well.
When you were training with them, was it a really big step up from what you'd been doing before? Did you really notice a big difference?
I think the fact that it wasn't really too much of a difference is like testament to the fact that how hard we train out here for Super Netball, and the fact that I could easily go from a Super Netball training session into something with the Diamonds means that it's definitely working back here in Clubland.
And what was the atmosphere like in those countries? South Africa first.
South Africa is obviously one of those really different ones. They were the coaching staff and all that. They were very certain to make sure that we knew that if we were going out anywhere, that we couldn't go out on our own. Just those sorts of things, because it's one of those. It's not as a developed country as we have over here in Australia. So they've got different things going on at different times and stuff like that. So it was quite interesting to go over there. First time over there as well. So I love the fact that netball just gives you the opportunity to be able to travel to these sorts of places that most people wouldn't be able to get to.
And what about England? What was that like?
Well, it was very cold.
Well, it's pretty cold here right now. So we were lucky to only have the one game in England, so pretty much fly and then fly back home to Australia. So
Yeah, but I absolutely love going over to England. After we played the World Youth Cup in Scotland, spent a bit of time over there after that. So yeah,
Talk
it's
about
definitely
chilly
a place.
temperatures. Scotland's even colder.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it wasn't too bad while we were over there. It was still shorts, like could still wear shorts. So it's a bit cool, but sort of like a spring, like just out of winter spring here in Sydney. So.
And what about the crowds? Were they really into it?
They definitely were over in England. Obviously, we were playing England over there in that game, and yeah, they're really vocal and they want to get behind their teams. And you see it here all the time, and like in Super Netball and even at the A&L levels, that the home team, like the players have their home team, they've got the support of the crowd behind them, and it really helps get them over the line sometimes.
You've got one or two English players in your Giants team. What's it been like being able to mix with so many different nationalities?
Well, I sort of think that Joe and Serena have sort of, everyone thinks they're Australian now. They're sort of, they pick up on
their accent though. That's
no, they
important.
haven't. But yeah, they definitely picked up more on the Aussie lingo and stuff over here. There's definitely a lot of sayings and stuff that most people would only say in Australia that they're sort of picked on as well. And you're like, hey, you're coming one of us now. Definitely played the drop bear on them as well. I think Serena nearly fell for it until Joe went and Googled it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Tell me how that happened. What did you set it up?
Oh, the girls were when we had time off over Easter last year. The girls were going to go up the coast and they're going to go camping. And I think it was actually our PA. She was like, "Oh, just make sure you don't put your tent under a tree because a drop bear will come and get you while you're asleep." And she nearly got them there until, obviously Joe was like, "Yeah, I don't believe you guys."
Have they told you about the story of the puzzle?
They were talking
about that at the Giants lunch.
So Joe was telling us that she's like, if we don't finish this puzzle before we're not going to win. And then they nearly had it done, and they were scrambling around trying to find the last piece, and then they all put the last piece in together. So
right before the final, they said they couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I think they end up finding it under like a couch cushion or something like that. Such a strange place for a jigsaw puzzle piece to be.
So there's a lot of talking being done in this Sapphires circle here. Have you picked up any sort of sayings from your English teammates?
Not really. I think because I only really see them when we're like training in games and stuff like that. Whereas I think more Jamie Lee and Christiana living with them, they call themselves the Terror Squad. We can see them. They usually try to pick on Serena as much as possible at the moment.
She's definitely a character.
Yeah.
All right, so the players are starting to wander back on now. They Manly look like they're having too much fun. They might not want to come back up. It's 27 all at halftime. The championship quarter, as Chrissy described it, coming up now. What do you think that would have been said? Probably to the Sapphires first at the halftime break.
I think the main thing for them would be just because they're playing really well now. Just being able to capitalise on their turnovers, which is obviously something they were looking to work on coming into this game this week. So I think they're doing everything else right out there on court. They're getting a lot of ball back, but a lot of it's coming straight back into the defenders' faces.
And how about UTS?
I think it'd be more for them. They're sort of struggling a bit across that transverse line, so not getting so lateral and having more than one option to the ball for them.
Hilton just popping back into the space to get the ball. And she's created an opportunity in the middle here too. She gives it to Vassallo. Through the hands of Caitlin Campbell. Everyone's scrambling for it. Ellen Brown comes up with it. Man. Bone calling for it. Metaxoli. Clough in the pocket. Wants a better option. She'll go back to the transverse line. Nice work from Brown to get it back into the pocket. Clough.
Lots of talk happening there in that circle there. Just not really sure who's going for what out there in those defenders.
Although it's worked, they've turned it over.
Yeah.
Step. That was definitely a step. I've been calling some other things tonight, but
That one was, yes.
Vasalo coming out for the centre pass. Caitlin Campbell having to push a little bit to find some space outside of her player in man. There's some good man-on-man defence happening between the centres. Clough, quick offload to Matt Taxoli.
Too many letters in there. Some of these
Too
girls'
many
names.
syllables.
Yeah.
If they could just play a bit slower, I could get them all out.
Yeah.
So Sapphires have come out and got 2 straight goals. Clough, attack solely, bounce pass Harding. Man just dropping back. Attack solely, calling in the pocket. She gives it to Harding. Strong hold from Selwyn. And it won't stop the accuracy of Jade Harding. They make it 3 in a row, 30-27. It's a pretty good start to the third quarter from them. UTS Sparks here. Melville coming out for the ball, did create the turnover.
She's a bit early there. I reckon if the wing attack had a look into the circle, it probably could have gone straight in there.
Just take that second longer to assess the options.
Even just a fake out to Caitlin Campbell there with the defender coming out on her would have opened it up to go straight back into the shooter.
So these Manly subs having a big input on what's happening out on the court in terms of shouting out some direction. Over the top of the mess. Clough. Another one. 32-27. Sparks are yet to score in this third quarter. Coming out to Hilton.
I think we might see a change here with the Sparks. They got Tanisha Hunt up there warming up for the girls.
Actually haven't seen her come on yet, have we?
No, it's quite unusual. She was a starter in the grand final for the Sparks last year, so quite unusual to see her sitting on the bench.
Oh, they're stuck. Have to go back to Millie Boehm. Man, now able to get it to Matak Soli. She goes straight to Clough with the feed. Maddie Hilton just stuck for a fraction looking away from her player.
Yeah.
Not keeping the periphery there.
Yeah.
Ball out of Westwood's reach. Swanky picks up the dregs. And we've got Campbell in the pocket. Vasale, straight to Westwood. She wasn't expecting that, but she'll take it. Pass back with Campbell to get a nice position. Goes in, despite the little love
knock
tap.
from the defenders there.
Love knock, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Clough. Sorry, Metaxoli. Harding now to Clough. Metaxoli keen to offer an option from the back. Selwyn's jumped on the rebound. Strong pass. They're up in the goal third already. They just almost completely missed the midcourt. Nice work from Westwood. They're coming back here, the Sparks. It's 33-30. The Sapphires scoring 6 early goals. Over the top now. Good contest from Brown. Campbell to Westwood. Goes over to Swanky. Better play from the Sparks. Back within 2 now. Sapphire centre. Clough loses the ball. Lucky it's picked up by Melville. Metaxoli. A little bit of contact there.
I think Sparks are starting to find their rhythm now. They're obviously the 3-0 start with the Sapphires at the start of this quarter, but they just sort of found their flow a bit easier now.
Salo, backwards drive. Now finds space in the pocket. Nice work from Bowen. Tapping the ball out of play. Westwood. Campbell. Gives it to Swanky right underneath. That was a lovely feed. I think the timing was all the difference with that one.
Good vision from the feeders as well.
34-32. Sapphires are leading the Sparks. Sapphires now trying to make it into the circle. Jacoba Clough is having to work overtime to find some space. Maddie Hilton's defending her really well.
Yeah, it's a good matchup out there with these two tonight. I think because they're both quite similar in height, that Sapphires can't use the height advantage that they might get over some of these other teams. So, yeah, it's been really good one-on-one defence from the players out there.
And that is the Australian style, isn't it? Man on man.
Yeah, definitely.
Campbell. She decides to go over the top of the circle instead. Swanky dropping back. Missed ball. Missed opportunity. Manly had jumped on it. Brown, mid-court. Goes cross-court to Boehm. Now Man. Metaxoli, edge of the circle to Clough. Nice rebounds. Ready and waiting for it too, just backing up her efforts with the shot. 36-32. Seeing a change made. Campbell clearly coming off.
Yeah, so we're going to see Campbell come off, Chase moving into the middle, and Tanisha out on the wing.
Harding, attack Solly, little bounce pass to Man. They're finding Clough every time, aren't they? Haven't seen Jade Harding take it to the post many times.
I think that's mainly probably what their game plan might be, using Jade back there as like more of a sort of a third feeder and a drawing, so her drives to draw players off, so open up Clough under the post.
Manly stuck, going back. Boehm, long pass to Metaxoli. Too strong the pass to Jade Harding. It goes straight through the hands. Selwyn to Hilton. Selwyn. Oh. They're struggling here. Vassallo. Hunt. Girls just hanging back and waiting till it's their turn to come forward. Doesn't always work when you've got strong defence on you though.
Yeah, I think they're just struggling a little bit in this centre third over the transverse line. We need a bit more help from the defenders coming through, and maybe an option for the shooters as well.
Vassallo to Hunt. She goes backwards to Hilton. Vassallo pocket. Oh, nice work by Millie Boehm. Oh, Kai Swanky. Also alert. 2 goals difference. This is tight. Still a lot of game. Oh, ball to the face. That must have hurt.
A bit of a falcon there.
It's never nice, especially in this cold weather.
Yeah, it's a bit like the first ball that when your girls are out there playing state age out in the cold and ball on the end of the finger.
Oh, yep, the bend back.
Yeah.
Never fun. Swanky, cross court to Vassallo. Westwood a little bit dramatic there.
Yeah.
Getting what she wanted with the penalty. And the Sparks are happy about that goal. 38-36, they're only behind by 2 points. Step. A little bit of a drag maybe.
A bit of both, I think, yeah. Drag first, then stepped.
Westwood just batting the ball, trying to get it to Swanky, and it's ended up on the back line. Crazy little bit of passage of play. Melville, oh, nice work. Intercept from UTS, creating an opportunity through Jess Bowden. Westwood now. That weird wrist action still coming into play.
Still working for her though.
She reminds me of a spinner in cricket. She really is very turny.
Yeah.
Vassallo, nice outside hand from Melville. Fake, didn't really work. Just buys us some time. No one sort of came through for the rebound then.
No,
Manly.
they just sort of watched it. It was all Manly for that ball.
we go. Another intercept from Jess Bowden. Oh, getting tangled up in each other. Oh, there we go. We're level,
even,
38.
yeah.
4 minutes of play. The Sparks really clawing their way back here. And it seems bizarre to be saying that because there's really only been a goal or two difference most of the game.
Yeah, it's not been one of those sort of games that have blown out like the game previously, with the scoreline blowing out in that third quarter. So the girls have done well to keep it as close as they have.
They've definitely had to work a lot harder though to get those 2 goals back. So even though they're very close in the score, it has been hard for them to get back to where they are now, level at 38 apiece.
Yeah, they're getting a bit stagnant down there in attack, so just need to keep players moving to open things up for them, particularly with a tall holding shooter that's not going to come out of the circle too much.
Vassallo offside. Melville, top of the circle. Coming forward is man. Replay. You hate those ones. As soon as it happens, you know you're going to get pulled up.
They're the ones where they're the ones that you sort of see players when they're like, oh, it's probably going to be a replay, and they sort of stand there and look at it for a bit before they decide they're going to pick it up, risk it.
Better to have the possession and then turn it over than give them the run of the play.
Yeah.
Hilton now assessing all the options. Vassallo. Swanky. She'll use Vassallo. Someone's calling out to Georgia Westwood.
I think it might be their coaches on the sideline.
Regan Tweddle looking nice and warm with her UTS scarf.
Yeah, the girls are in a pretty good spot there in terms of coaches. Their assistant coach and their apprentice coach, both national champs in the men's competition. So
I'm just watching as the apprentice coach does all the yelling.
Both of them, Stephen and Eugene, were part of the national winning team for the men's Opens team. So
there you go. That's great information. What positions do they play? Do you know?
So Eugene's goal attack, and then Stephen both in the circle and out on the mid-court.
Swanky all alone by itself at the back. Here we go, Sparks in front by 2. Haven't we seen the turn?
Yeah, they're just sort of been able to capitalise on their turnovers a lot more than Sapphires, so I'm sure that's going to be something that their coaches are going to address coming into this final quarter.
Big cheer for the Sparks intercept then. There's a lot of parents up the top with hands over their mouths just watching. It's a good game.
I think the advantage of the under-20s competition is that they're always going to have a bit of a crowd because the girls can't really drive themselves to the game.
Just adding to the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And these really are 2 great teams. I mean, Manly is quite diverse this year, and apparently what the coaches did with their selections was they tried to pick people on their individual qualities and what they could add to the team, so not trying to pick too many similar players.
Yeah.
It just gives them a lot of variety and options. It's a different way of going about it.
I think it's definitely, in terms of selection, it's about picking key players, and then players are going to be able to combine well with those key players that you intend to have out there on court more.
Man, just holding on to it. Now Matak Soli's got it, but Selwyn's interfered. It's okay. Jode Harding able to regather. She's going to have to maybe move a little bit more.
Just looking a bit nervous out there a bit, Jade Harding.
Clough doesn't though. She's confident in the front. Yeah, so in this Manly side, you've got 2 players who made the 2018 Talent Development Squad, and Hayley Bidolph, who we haven't seen yet tonight, and also Annabelle Gillings. She's sitting on the sideline.
Bit unusual to see those sorts of things, but obviously they're a bit younger, and the players the coaches want to get some of that experience out there first to try to get as far ahead as possible, so they can bring on some of these younger players.
Annie Miller is also in their side, and she is impressive. She made New South Wales 17s and under team this year, and the Australian 17s and unders team. So they better hold on tight to her.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting for girls to make their first state team. I can remember, I think I tried about 3 times before I made the 17 state team.
Really? There you go.
Yeah, definitely it's very exciting for the first time in.
But looking at your career, obviously once they found you, they held on with both hands. We do not want to let her go.
Yeah.
Give her anything she wants, Australia, New South Wales. Yeah, when you look at UTS as well, they've got a really strong side too. So Ash Selwyn made New South Wales under-17s. Georgia Westwood playing in the New South Wales under-19s. Jess Bowden, New South Wales talent development squad. So, you know, they're not short of talent in either of these sides.
Yeah, no, we're seeing a lot now the girls coming through, that there's quite a lot of talent, but them not all sort of congregating to the one team as well, so they're sort of spread out across all the 8 franchises, which then makes the competition really competitive for all the girls out there.
Well, it was 27 apiece at half time, but we've really seen UTS come out strong in this quarter. So they've outscored the Manly Sapphires 16-13. So 3 goals, it's nothing, but it makes all the difference at this time in the game.
Yeah, so with Sparks coming into the final quarter with a lead, it would be there, if I was there out coaching them, to just be to keep doing what you're doing, because it's obviously working, and just being able to, all you really need to do is score your centre passes. Anything else is just an added bonus.
Keep your possession.
Yeah.
Are you coaching this year? Did you mention that before?
Yeah, so I'm assistant coach on the St George Metro 1 team. So
enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely learning a lot there. It gives you a different perspective of what's going out on court and how to play the game, and you see things from a different angle, which has been really good.
And how are the girls going?
We're top of the table at the moment.
Ah, there you go. You're all the difference.
Yeah, so top of the table at the moment. We had a bit of a big loss on last Thursday night against Eastwood, but yeah, it's probably good to get some of those losses in right at the start of the season. Because like I said before, you learn a lot more from a loss than what you do from a win. So it's a good learning curve for some of the girls. A lot of them, it's their first year playing in Metro 1.
And we talked about how important this competition is when it comes to feeding into A&L teams and Super Netball teams. But how important is the Metro League? And can you sort of explain, you know, what night does it happen? It happens here, doesn't it?
Yeah, so there's the 6 divisions of Metro League, so it plays on every other night. That is not the Wednesday night for the Premier League. So, yeah, I do spend a couple of extra nights out here than what I'd usually get. But, it's great to be able to get some of these other girls out there, and obviously these Metro 1 and 2 teams that are feeder teams for these Premier League franchises, being able to have the opportunity to be training partners and come up and sit on the bench for the girls sometimes, which is really good to see. So it's a good bridging competition between 20s and Opens. So when they become too old to play in the 20s, somewhere to sort of sit in between before they make their way up into an Opens team.
Did you get approached for that role, or did you put your hands up for it?
No, Tyson, who's the apprentice coach on the Opens team for Sparks, so he's the coach there, and he and I are really good mates. And he's like, I need an assistant coach.
Oh, and you said, well, lucky I know a bit about netball then.
Yeah, I was like, well, okay.
It really is a nice way to give back, though.
Yeah. So our family is a bit heavily involved with netball through the pathway. So my sister's been coaching junior rep side at St George as well, and mum manages the Metro 1 team as well. So pretty easy to be able to give back, and the girls appreciate it a lot as well.
And you've all picked St George despite coming from Balkan Hills?
I just think we sort of, there's times that you need to sort of move associations, and Mum was originally managing with the coach that was on the Metro 1 team before, but now he's moved over to Panthers to coach the 20s team over there. So she just sort of stayed at St George and brought the coach across with her, and then all the players started coming across. So
she spoke to them
we
all.
sort of built our own little empire over there at St George.
All right, so Manly have been first to score in this quarter, which is important because we spoke about UTS just sort of hanging on to their possession if they want to keep in front. This last 15 minutes, Georgia Westwood now with an opportunity. 45-41, the Sparks lead the Sapphires. Westwood and Hilton just playing tag team. They've given it to Hunt and Vassallo. Westwood.
Some of these Sparks girls just holding onto the ball for a bit too long. Need to give it as soon as the option's there. Might be able to draw a couple of contacts and stuff from the Sapphires girls.
So the hesitation is holding them back a little?
Yeah, I think they're a bit worried about players coming through and stuff like that, but sometimes giving the ball early enough, the girls can take it and it'll draw contact from a player defending them as well.
Not the best pass, but Manly are able to regather it. Now Melville's come out into goal defence. And we've seen Bowen go back to goalkeeper. Mann's got it in centre. She gives it to Clough, quick feed, and Annabelle Billings has come on. We were only just talking about her in the break.
Yeah, I think with Jade back there, she's sort of losing it. Looked like she was losing a bit of confidence there towards the end of the quarter. So maybe something just to change it up and keep the Sparks guessing out there.
Certainly some loud support here for the Sparks tonight. The rest of Manly remain the same, and UTS are unchanged. I don't think we're surprised by that.
No, it's been working for them, so might as well just leave it out there, let the girls run it out for the full game.
(46-41), they're in front by 5. And that was UTS centre. Coming back now, Manly. Clough to attack solely. Clough just working with Man on the edge. Now Mitak Soli's at the top. UTS are defending really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure coming from these players on the circle edge as well, which is making it quite hard for them to see some open space in the circle.
Clough, one-legged, not totally balanced, but gets it in. She makes 4. The difference 4, 46-42. Sparks leading the Sapphires. Oh, tip from Vassallo, regathers. Westwood, strong through, running through for the pass. (47-42), lead back to 5. Attack Solly to Gillings. She's really stuck for an option. Goes back to Mitak Solly. She's going back to Brown. There's a lot of running being done, but no space being found.
Yeah, it's going to be really important that these Sapphire girls, there's still 10 minutes left to go in the game. If they want to bring this game back, they need to do some full court defence to try to get the ball back early and give them most opportunity to score.
Hunt to Vassallo. Ball. Pass from outside. Westwood now with the shot. 5 goals difference. Just put me on repeat. Regan Tweddle shelling out some instructions to her team. And Mitak Solly is having to go back a lot and create the opportunities herself. Come back and find position again. This time she's fed to Gillings, who isn't happy with the position. Clough way out. Gives it to Gillings. That was a good feed. Nice assist. The difference is 4. We're going goal for goal here. Hunt stuck for an option. Again, she'll come back. This passage of play not that dissimilar to what we saw from Manly, the wing attack doing a lot of the work. Westwood. She was already walking back to the centre pass.
Definitely knew that one was going in.
Up and over. Mann's got it. Clough's in the pocket. Oh, little tip from Selwyn. Hilton comes in quickly. Quick arms. Gillings in front. Misses. UTS ball. Over the top now to Vassallo. Hilton running through the midcourt. Over the top, Hunt is free. Quick run. Oh, step.
Just a bit fast over there.
Couldn't
from Chase.
control her pace. 49-44, they've managed to keep that 5-goal buffer coming back. Ellen Brown is now stopped for an option. She goes over the top to Melville. Clough putting it up and over. Gillings in front, able to nab the ball. 5 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals each time.
Yeah, they need to get some hand on some ball.
Some turnover would be good just to break the deadlock. And there's a strong hold being put on Westwood by all players in Manly.
Yeah,
you know she's the danger
there's
player.
A bit of a ball carrier out there for the girls there, so really good to see Manly pick up on that and try to limit her effect out there with trying not to get her with ball in hand.
Now Swenke was able to get to the ball that time, but she's actually done less these last 2 quarters than Westwood, I believe. She's sort of been stuck at the post.
Sort of seen Westwood more in the circle and not doing as much work out on the court, which I mentioned she needed to do a bit earlier in the game. So maybe their coaches over there heard me. Who knows?
It might be tuned into the Bar TV stream.
Yeah.
You might take over your friend's role. Ash Selman with the ball for UTS. They're in front by 5. 7 minutes. Her and Maddie Hilton. Give and go, give and go. Little tip from Manly. Scrambling after it. Oh, Selwyn, no, she's given it up. Manly throw in. Jacoba Clough. Now quickly between Matak Soli. Finds some space. Oh, so unlucky with the rebounds, and they know it. Look at them laughing. Manly throw in. Clough just popping forward. Probably not as great a hold on her that UTS would have liked.
Yeah, well, she's been doing a lot of work out there for the girls tonight. They're probably the key player that they need to shut down out there at the moment, try to force the new shooter out there to try to do a bit more of the shooting.
Westwood under the post. It's getting colder and colder here at the Junaid Netball Centre.
Need to close some of the windows, I think.
Well, it actually looks like, oh, yep, there's some of them still open. You're right, the vents. The players on court definitely wouldn't be feeling it, though. A little tap on the ball from behind from Manly. Westwood's not bothered. 52-46.
Such a nice high release from Westwood. The arms of the defenders just don't really bother the shots too much.
What do you mean by high release, Chrissy? Explain to our listeners.
So just the fact that, as we see the shooter here, she's got it doesn't come off the hand quite as high. It's sort of just dribbling into the ring, whereas Westwood's is coming off the hand nice and high, so it's clearing everything and dropping in from over the top of the ring.
A bit more loopy.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely hands from Clough. Metaxoli now looking to feed. Gillings really struggling to find. There we go. UTS turnover. Up and over. Hilton in the middle. She'll go over the top. Boehm coming through. Doesn't keep it in play. UTS throw in outside the circle. Popping out. Westwood. Oh,
nice save
kept
there.
In play. Didn't even go over. That was nice work by Maddie Hilton. (54-46). This lead has pushed out a fair bit.
Going to have a bit of a change here from the Sparks.
So I believe that this is a player that's helping out tonight. Unfortunately, Isabel picked up the stick, which means that Mariana Cairo, who is a Metro player for the Parramatta and Auburn Netball Association, is able to come in and have an opportunity here in Premier League. That's nice that they've been able to find time to reward her for committing to the team?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hard for some of these girls to come out here and sit on the bench for full games week in, week out. So it's good to be able to, that the girls have done the hard work out there for the full 3.5 quarters, that they're able to give some of these other players some time in court.
54-47. This has been a great game. The lead has changed multiple times. We've seen some great defensive work and a lot of nice attacking work too.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of slipped away here from Sapphires a bit at the end there, whereas we saw it in the opposite in the earlier games. So it's definitely, this sort of competition, it's definitely anyone's game out there each week.
Sparks centre pass, just over 3 minutes on the clock. They're in front by 6. Tip from Manly doesn't go their way. Sparks still in control here. Vassallo, pocket over the top. Nice timing to Westwood. Melville was coming through, but yeah, that's the timing of the pass.
In the circle there, able to take the ball even with the defender on her.
Sapphire centre, what can they do with this? Attack solely, goes lateral. Clough's got it, she's their best at the moment. Oh, just trickles over the top.
Bit of a commentator's curse down here too tonight. Here
we go, Vassallo, Maddie Hilton. Vassallo, good challenge from Mann. High Swanky with the ball. Strong shot. 56-48. It's really pushing out here. 8 goals now, 2 minutes on the clock. And that was a Manly centre.
It was, so good to see. It would be good to see if Sparks could have finished that one off, but a bit of a silly pass there.
Great vision from Millie Boehm, just coming out to meet the ball. Good turnover for them. Can they capitalise on it?
No.
UTS throw in. Annabelle Billings, missed attempt. Strong pass. Vassallo. Do the same for Hunt. They're moving up here quickly now. Oh, little tip goes into Manly. Millie Boehm just waiting. Gives it to Mann. Nice work by Selwyn. Read the play. Gillings was just holding back that little bit and allowed Selwyn to come forward.
Yeah, she just needed to use the body a bit more to keep Ash from coming around into the space football. But Ash read that for like a mile away.
Some strong defence from Manly here. Determined. 57-48. They've got 45 seconds on the clock. Manly centre. Can they bring the deficit back? Gillings, lovely bounce pass from Mann into her. And Clough will take the free shot. A lot of yelling being done here, mostly from UTS. Tahisha Hunt up and over. Oh, lovely feed. Oh, there's a lot of contact being done off the ball.
Bit of a caution in the last 10 seconds of the game.
It's a weird time for it to rear its head, isn't it? That was a lovely feed from Vassallo. Gillings turning and going, but Clough was not there. There we go. Oh, the goal does not count. No. 58-49, the Sparks have beaten the Sapphires. Pretty interesting game.
Yeah, it's great to see that the girls put out a full 60-minute performance. I think the Sparks were just able to obviously stick to their game plan and to their strengths and stuff more than what we saw from Manly tonight. So hopefully they can keep on with this on their campaigns.
So we saw UTS get up in the third quarter by 3 goals, 16-13, and they come they came out in the fourth and just continued on with that, even though Manly were able to score first. They outscored Manly in that last quarter 15-9, so 6 goals is a pretty big difference.
Yeah, it's definitely a testament to the fact that the girls have went out there and did all the hard work early. They wore their defenders down, and when they're the sort of things that they start to count towards the end of the game, when bodies are getting a bit sore and tired, and they start to make a couple of silly errors and stuff like that.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up this game in front of the camera. We'll be back with you shortly. So Manly were up by 2 after the first quarter, and then both teams were level, 27 all at half-time before UTS just ran away with it. Chrissy Bryce?
Yeah, they were definitely putting out a strong performance there across all 4 quarters, being able to do things. They were able to capitalise better and be able to do things with the basics well.
So UTS, this is their first win of the season, and obviously they've got a lot of new players, only 4 players coming back from last year. Did you see some good signs from them tonight?
Yeah, so a win like this would definitely give them a lot of confidence leading into the rest of the season. Being able to get a good strong win over someone like Manly, particularly after a 20-goal loss last week, will definitely help them out there.
They were toing and froing with the lead the whole game, really. So as a Manly coach, if you were in her shoes right now, would you be too disappointed?
Not really, because they had some really good passages of play. It's been either mainly for them being able to string them together more consistently in the games coming.
All right, player of the match, who you got?
Well, considering I don't really know most of them, but I think Ashley Selwyn did a pretty good job out there, but probably any of the defenders for the Sparks tonight they all did a really good job.
Well, Chrissy Bryce, thank you so much for joining us on the Premier League Bar TV coverage tonight. It's been a thrill to have you, and we hope we can have you back later in the season. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's obviously a different experience being able to be behind the cameras and to be on the microphones to being out there actually on court. So yeah, really good. Really enjoyed it tonight.
Well, you're playing at the highest level. You're coaching now, and now you're behind the mic as well. You're doing it all. Please come back soon. It was brilliant to have you. Tune in next Wednesday night for more Premier League coverage. We'll have the under-20s first next week, and then the Opens following them. Have a great week. Not sure who won the Origin. Hopefully it was the Blues. And thanks for tuning in tonight.